Hi, everybody. Welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 204. It is Saturday, June 15th. We're back down in the basement to talk about another week from the world of wrestling. We will be reviewing quickly last weekend's NXT Battleground before getting into our usual stuff, which is AEW Dynamite, NXT, TNA, some WWE, Raw, probably. Don't know if
I have a bit of SmackDown. I don't have anything from Raw.
Okay. So we'll get into all of that. There'll be timestamps if you want to jump to anything. We usually banter about whatever right here. Your mic is a bit twisted.
There. Yeah. Okay.
That's good.
Oh, there's the Acolyte again.
We did watch the Acolyte episode 3. It was almost a complete complete flashback.
Which I don't know. I thought it was fine.
The first few minutes I wasn't I can't remember specifically why, and then I thought it picked up, and I liked the last like 2/3.
I didn't hate it. I wasn't super into it. I think putting a whole episode in the past is kind of a bold move.
Yeah.
If not to put at the beginning.
But it gives us spoilers if anyone cares. Again, timestamps if you need it. But it explains the whole fire thing, and we know officially whose fault it was.
What I didn't love, though, was that I thought it was really cool in the one episode where she poisons the guy. He was like taking it voluntarily because the Jedi did some messed up thing, but he didn't do anything wrong. The guy who poisoned himself?
So far, right. Unless we're getting more flashbacks that will explain.
I guess. But
more of it.
At least from the surface, he didn't do anything wrong. So I think that was kind of odd. And then like the twins aren't identical.
No,
children,
when in flashbacks, they're two different people.
Yeah.
But in the present, they're the same.
And then I thought it was a little bit like on the nose with like one's super witchy and one's not. But I guess it is kind of explained. So I'll give them. It
was with the whole like.
The one got fully indoctrinated and then the
got interrupted.
OSHA got cut off. Yeah. So I didn't mind that. And then I was seeing a video and some guy, and I kind of agree with it, is the mysterious Sith Lord guy at the end of the first episode is Chimere, the guy who made the poison.
Oh, okay.
Because he's like, and because I was watching the video, and he's like, I think he compared it to John Wick, where he's like the supplier or something like that, and usually they're supposed to like not really take interest in what the client is doing.
Yeah.
Or like what John Wick's doing, the guys don't care, right?
Right.
But he seems to be pretty invested in what May's doing.
He did.
Like he was the one who suggested the poison.
Yes.
And he seems to know like a lot about the Jedi ways. So and it'd be kind of like how Palpatine he played a politician for forever before he became the Emperor. So I think it'd be kind of interesting. Murphy thinks I'm stupid, but I'm banking on it. I mean, I'm 0 for 2 with because I thought Marok would be something in Ahsoka. He was a dust ball, and then the clone assassin in Bad Batch was nobody. So we're on a good streak here. I'm gonna bank on Chimere.
Yeah, and
it makes sense.
It does. And I was telling you, I met another Star Wars nerd today with the IT guy from work, because this is a brand new work issued computer that was not connecting to the internet.
Hardware.
So I went into his little cave of an IT office, and he's got like the full. I sent you pictures, right?
Yeah.
The full on. He said they're the Hasbro
Din Djarin and I think Boba Fett
heads, and then a bunch of other stuff scattered around his office. So we were talking Acolyte a little bit. Interesting where we live in Southern Ontario. We've been tornado place, right? Like we've had
not really though.
No
like,
actual
it was
tornadoes,
common, but like then it didn't. So.
But 2 days ago was our second tornado warning day in the last month for sure, maybe even less.
Mm-hmm.
So significant storm, and we ended up with some patio furniture in the pool. Your mother fished out yesterday, and some beer cans floating around the pool as well. But
because you're such a drunk. Yeah,
that's right. I think the recycling bin got blown around somehow.
Yeah,
all my beer cans for sure. Yeah. Every single one of them. Yeah. Anything exciting? You've got 2 days left of regular school, then exams start, which you're very excited for, as all teenagers are excited for.
I mean, finally got my death triangle.
Oh yeah, here. That's so people that watch in video. Jack puts different figures on the table every week. I think
last week we got the Darby Brody and my double dose of done.
Yes,
but then my death triangle came from Jazzwares, which is the people that make the AEW figures. So I got it directly from them because it was exclusive, and the packaging's pretty
possibly
crazy.
The coolest packaging.
It came in like a cardboard box, but that had Death Triangle
logos on it. You said you took
it.
Pictures? If you send them to me, I'll put them in.
It was a box in a box, and then inside the box was the packaging, which had a big sleeve over it. It's like this trapezoid thing that folds out into 3 triangles.
It's very cool.
And so it's all done, and it's got trios belts and the international title, so it's everything. It's pretty cool, and I like the white on Phoenix.
You know how I know it's cool? It's because you contemplated not actually opening it.
Oh yeah, I wanted the second one just because I think it looks so sick and packaged.
It looks awesome.
And because it's one of 3,000 or something, so you could make some cheddar.
Yeah.
In the future.
Some cheddar.
Some
mozzarella.
Some cheddar.
Just cheddar.
Yeah.
And your brother just woke up and it's like noon. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Although he's had a busy week.
Yeah. Well, even like for me this morning, I was like in my bed for an hour before I came down. Like,
yeah.
And I was.
Well, he had like
an hour before.
Usual basketball plus a soccer tournament. Plus he had his grade 8 grad trip yesterday where they were out at Blue Mountain all day doing whatever. Plus he went to Chuck's party last night and swam around. So I'm glad he slept in, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Probably needed it. Anything else you want to discuss before we get into our regularly scheduled program?
We probably won't do Clash at the Castle predictions because I assume as we're recording it,
it's going to be happening in
so
an hour.
Not really much of a point. But
no,
maybe we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, we'll definitely, because I plan on checking it out. So we'll go back to it at the beginning of next week. But anyways, I say we move on. First segment, as always, will be us taking a look at some of the week's wrestling news and rumors. All right, so ratings-wise, it happened again, eh? Did you hear this?
What?
NXT averaged 718,000 viewers.
I saw.
They won the battle this week. So 718, down 6.5.
Where was this when it was black and gold?
And earned a 0.22 in the key demographic, which is exactly the same. They had no major sports competition this week with both NBA and NHL playoffs having the night off. So they were down a little bit. So my thing was Cody Rhodes didn't move the needle, but I guess they didn't really promote it either, to be fair.
I only knew like the day before or something.
Because I don't like Cody, so I'd love to say, see, he didn't do anything, but it wasn't like it was promoted.
Yeah, it wasn't like that one time where they loaded up NXT with him, Cena, and Taker.
So Dynamite was 681,000, down 13.8% and a 0.23 in the key demographic, down almost 18% at 17.9. However, it did go up against an NBA Finals game, so that always hurts them a little bit. News from you, sir? I have a few items.
My favorite one of the week was... well, it wasn't notable at first, but then I heard some more about it, so it was funny.
All right.
Hikuleo's reportedly done with New Japan. He's headed to WWE, but did you see what his rumored name is?
It was actually in my... So as soon as it was a separate story, and so like, obviously that's his name.
Tala Tonga.
Because he's tall. It's not since Shorty G have we had.
I just think that's awesome.
Such an on the nose.
It's implying that he's like Tama Tonga, but taller.
He's the Tala Tonga.
I actually thought he would debut last night, but he didn't.
That's funny.
I love it for Tala Tonga. That's just my favorite.
I actually
thing
didn't.
Ever.
So it's funny because I got the same story and I didn't even think of the name until you started laughing at it because I just like copied it into my notes, right? So yeah, very creative stuff. Or anyways, we'll see. Booker T contract said to expire soon. Very exciting. Very exciting to me. And like, let him go. And nobody else is allowed to sign him as a commentator. I don't know what role you want him in, but a manager maybe, but not commentary. He's like more of a distraction and annoying than helpful.
I think Vic's losing it.
I can't imagine that anyone is like super attached to Booker T, but I could be wrong.
I mean, doesn't he have a promotion? So he could just go and do that.
Ring of Wrestling or what?
Reality of
Wrestling. Yes, he has that.
Ring of Wrestling is just anything.
I don't know.
All of them. I guess like he's more so done now, but Ricochet's reportedly given his notice to WWE that he's not resigning, and then he was written off with the Braun Breaker attack on Raw.
Yeah, I don't think I got that far on Raw because I only make it to I never make it to hour 3. I'll say that much. So I don't know if I saw that this week, but I heard that they basically wrote him off. He's out indefinitely or whatever from.
But then I think he dropped the speed title after. I don't remember when they taped it. Or
at
when
least
it aired, at least.
At least if he's leaving, they're using him to like further push Breaker, which I think is a smart decision, right?
Yeah, so, at least it's some.
I just don't know where Ricochet is going to go. We said before, like he could do indie stuff for sure.
Yeah, I don't mind him appearing in AEW. I just don't need him to stay, just because I don't think he'll last.
There's just no room. For anymore.
Come in and have like an international title match with Ospreay, one off, and then dip again.
Yeah, something like that. It feels like they want it because Ospreay was commenting on him being underused, and then he's gone all of a sudden, right? So, the judge in the Janelle Grant Vince McMahon lawsuit has officially put the lawsuit on pause. So I didn't really know what that meant, so I kept reading, and it's basically because the Department of Justice, which is like a federal investigation, is investigating. So they're like, you hold off on your thing because we're the federal federales, right? This is the big time. So we're going to investigate and you guys just wait till we're done. So could be bad for Vince. I mean,
poor guy's been through enough.
Allegedly did a whole bunch of terrible things. So we'll see.
Yeah.
What else do you have?
Tiffany Stratton's eyeing Hollywood. She signed with a talent agency.
Oh, interesting.
Paradigm Talent Agency means nothing to me, but
she's going to be the new Rock. She's going to.
That's what they're hoping.
Yeah,
and like
obviously.
the Netflix move is like they're hoping that'll boost her stock too. Maybe
right up until doing whatever the superhero movie Rock did that has killed his career.
Black Adam.
Is that what it was? I've read somewhere that it's like that's why he came back to wrestling, because his star is so tarnished from that movie specifically that he's like, I can go back to wrestling anytime and be like the guy, right?
I mean, this year, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I was telling you, Dax Harwood is out indefinitely with a back injury. So it was it was the FTR versus Bucks match at Dynasty in April. So he's been working hurt for a while, where he did a pile driver to Matt Jackson onto a ladder. So he wasn't even the one receiving the pile driver. But I told you it's a hematoma that grew into the size of a football eventually on his lower back. So
I don't even want to know what that looks like.
He's out without a real timetable for return. So hope he heals quickly, because I quite enjoy Dax Harwood. And I only have one other story. I don't know about you.
You hear who's talking with AEW? Tag team?
I don't think so. Who?
GYV.
Oh, GYVR? That'd be great.
I'd take them.
Yeah, I mean, again, if you're going to use them,
teams,
if you find time for them.
We could use some more tag teams for sure.
I think so too. The only other thing that I had was that Paxley did answer the open door challenge, right? Officially for Jordan Grace at whatever it was, Against All Odds. I assume she lost. I haven't seen the results yet, but it happened last night. But that's the kind of people going to TNA we kind of predicted, right? Like NXT is getting the stars from TNA, and TNA is getting like the ones that
show promise
but need some seasoning.
Yeah,
that's what I feel like the transaction's going to mostly be.
I could easily see, if she's not injured, Cora Jade going over,
something like that, right?
Yeah,
but I don't see them sending Ethan Page over there.
No,
I think Josh
so
Alexander
because he's also been there though,
and Josh Alexander's more likely to go across.
Yeah, Ethan Page has been there, so it's kind of like there's that. I could see Spears going over maybe just because like he's something notable and he hasn't been there, and
it could be
notable.
And he did pick up a win this week. We'll get there. And you're tapped out for news?
Last one I had is Hangman is reportedly supposed to return soon, which is great because I honestly kind of forgot he was gone.
Blood and Guts? Question mark. I was going to ask that question later in the show, but
I feel like that has to happen. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense to me then. Yeah. I hope so. I love Hangman. Hangman's my boy. So
we both are big Hangman fans. So.
And I guess he'll go back to baby facing, which I do prefer. I do think his heel work what actually did win me over, but I'll always prefer him as vulnerable babyface Hangman.
So wait, you don't think he could be the fifth guy for the Bucks?
I guess so.
You're saying babyface. I was thinking, what if he's not?
He would go against them, but plus he'll be babyface and coming back.
Wouldn't it be cool if he is heel and he still wants to kill Swerve and Swerve's face now?
I guess that's how it has to go.
Kinda, right?
And then Swerve's title reign will be saved because Hangman's back, and we can run that in reverse.
I mean, I'm okay with that.
Actually,
was good. So this is killing a topic from later, but that's fine.
Ospreay and Swerve, I think, will help him out for sure. But then Hangman,
does he retain? Again, something I was going to talk about later.
Ospreay jinxed himself, so yes.
Yeah, right. He did. He not only touched it, he manhandled that title.
He heavily
can't win now.
There's no shot he wins.
Right. Okay. So, anyways, we'll focus back on a specific event, and that is the NXT PLE from last Sunday, I don't know, whenever it was.
I feel like it was
last
Sunday.
Weekend.
I feel like it was a Sunday because I swear we thought it was a Saturday and it wasn't.
Last weekend is accurate. And that is taking a look at NXT Battleground. Okay, if memory serves, you watched everything except the Underground match, right?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure. Sorry, watched is strong. We're present for, watched parts of.
Some.
In fact, that should be a rating scale. Like, what percentage of the match did you actually watch versus second screen? Yeah. So, sorry, I got to open my document. Professional stuff going on here. I said you can discuss the set if you wanted to. My only note was no room at ringside.
Yeah, I thought the UFC setup was kind of cool, actually. It was really small ringside, which I heard was the main complaint from talent, but like the stage was like small, but I thought it was kind of cool. And I did like the look. It did like vibe really well for NXT, I thought.
It's like, not many people are there. I think it's smaller than some indie shows we've been to.
I liked it though. I thought it was
it didn't bother me.
It would have been cool in black and gold days for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was a nice venue. I liked it. I do wish they had set up more ringside space, but I think for what they had, it was.
They did not have much room to work with at ringside for sure. The opening package.
We're starting with a ladder match.
Yes, exactly. The opening package, I thought by NXT standards was pretty basic because they always try and do something strange and creative. I mean, this was still good. It was like a voiceover. I guess this
one doesn't have a ton of theme. Than
you're right.
Twerking.
Couldn't do like beaches. Yeah, exactly. Or whatever. So
the No Mercy game.
Still good, but not one of their creative attempts.
I heard that they're bringing back the Bad Blood pay-per-view. I wonder if they're doing that for just like main roster, or if that would be an NXT one, because that'd be kind of cool.
Bad Blood?
Yeah.
Yeah. How long's it been since that existed?
I want to say 2004.
You would know, I think. 2004? That's 20 years away. It's time. Bring it back, I guess. Then, yes, they did their thing, which was a bunch of packages for NXT talent that aren't involved on the show.
Although I think they
some were repeats.
Chose good ones though that made sense to put on. I've seem to remember the choices actually making sense this time.
So I won't go into detail, but there was Briggs, Eddie Thorpe, Carly Bright,
the Briggs
Dante
one
Chen.
Was new, wasn't it?
I don't know if it was new or the same as the week before. I felt like it was new, but
yeah, I thought it was. But
Wendy Chu as well, and then at one point,
Wendy Chu one I know wasn't new because I remember seeing that before.
Remember, I got confused, like if the feed cut out or something, because we suddenly got the top 10 list of craziest announcer reactions of the year.
Yeah, that was
which we skipped through
because that's like a literal YouTube video.
And then a bunch of MMA people that we don't know were there. They showed a bunch of different fighting people. We prefer our fighters to be fake on this show. Okay,
I don't want to see people actually get hurt.
Real fighters, I don't know. So we opened the show with the ladder match for the NXT Women's North American Championship. So it's Sol Ruca, Jada Parker, Fallon Henley, Kalani Jordan, Lash Legend, Michin. I picked Fallon Henley.
I took Sol Ruca.
You picked Sol Ruca. So I think you picked probably the standout of the match, but she didn't win.
Yeah, I just forgot.
Good, though.
I forgot no one does it like Lonnie. That's on me.
Right, exactly. So Jada Parker lands on Booker really early somehow, and he's kind of taken out, and it was weird. I don't know, and he seemed kind of mad when he came back and got all his headset and mic back on, but I don't know anyways. So Ruca and Jordan are drop kicked, though they work together to drop kick a ladder into Fallon Henley on the floor. Jordan hits a twisting dive over the top onto Parker. Sol hits a pretty impressive moonsault off the turnbuckle onto Lash out on the floor. Parker goes...
Didn't that one look kind of iffy on the landing?
A little bit. Parker goes off of a ladder with like her butt smash thing to Kalani Jordan, who's lying across a ladder spanning the corner. It actually looks better than her finisher because she does this in normal matches, but obviously not with the ladder under her opponent. It looks more impactful than her finisher, although she smashed it. Was it in this match or later this week? Anyways.
I don't know.
She actually, somewhere she hit someone through the ropes with it. We'll talk about it anyways.
Oh, I feel like that was on the weekly.
Remember Sol Ruca's really high angle German suplex to Michin?
Oh yeah.
That was tough.
That threw me back to Hangman and Ricky Starks.
Right. Then we get this 4-person sleeper spot, right? With Lash as the base and people piling on top. And then I don't think it was with all of them, but at least with one person on her back, she starts to climb the ladder. And then remember, it culminates.
I'd like to see her try to climb a ladder with 3 people on her back.
It culminates with her like stretching Kalani Jordan.
Oh yeah, kind of like that spot Jericho used to do where you do the walls of Jericho modified on the top of the ladder.
Yeah, I thought it looked all right. Then we get 5 women, right, like gorilla pressing Lash overhead and tossing her over the top onto a ladder bridge that I feel like they anticipated breaking, but didn't.
Yeah, I feel like that was. I feel like that always has to be the case because it probably actually ends up being better than.
It probably hurt. That looked pretty painful.
Yeah, like because it was like when didn't New Catch at Mania they chucked Waller through a ladder.
Yeah,
and it broke clean. Like I assume that feels better.
Right.
It's like the lesser of two evils
because your momentum being stopped so suddenly on aluminum.
That's what, like, yeah, I think there was one time when during the pandemic when AEW were in that like small Atlanta place, and I think it was that match with Guevara and Darby or something. They had a ladder, but you can tell the difference. It was a legit ladder,
right? And
they dove on or whatever, and just the blunt like landing. Or I think Logan Paul did in Money in the Bank last year. We did like the splash from the apron on Priest, but just like didn't budge, so he just like kind of ricocheted off of it.
And that's like, and Lash is
that seems worse.
Biggest person in this match, right? So I probably this was the spot of the match, I would say. Then we get a soul snatcher to Parker coming out of the corner, and then one in rapid succession, right, using the ladder to Henley. I thought they both looked good. The setups didn't look super contrived for them, so and everyone loves to see the soul snatcher, I guess, right? And then kind of the finish out of nowhere, right? It's just like Jordan does her split-legged moonsault finisher to Michin lying on a ladder, but there was no real like build-up of crazy stuff happening. It was just like it kind of happened. She climbs the ladder, grabs the title. So Lonnie is the champion after 12 and a half minutes, first ever North American Women's Champion.
So I guess her and Melo have done it. That's cool, I guess.
Yeah, I guess. So I mostly like this match. Like, I thought it started out super fast, really good, the first several minutes. Then there was like, for me, after that 4-person sleeper spot, it kind of, there were a few things that felt contrived and awkward. And then I thought it kind of came back in the final few minutes. Like, again, ending was kind of sudden. And I think at times, and it's not a criticism, right? It's just an observation that they haven't been in a ton of ladder matches yet, right?
Yeah,
so a lot of the like climbing the ladder or stretching up for the belt looked really like, just put your foot up one more rung and you could like grab it easily, right? So just stuff like that is probably just experience that they need to get.
Yeah.
So
I thought it was fine. Most, like, some parts of it I like, but most of it was just kind of fine to
I agree.
not great.
Hence my rating. This show to me is good, not great.
And it'll always pale in comparison to how the men's North American title started, because that match is like, that's the 5-star ladder match, as people call it. Like, we
love that match.
That's one of my favorite matches of all time, for sure.
Yeah.
And now I guess with Ricochet gone, everybody from that ladder match is gone.
Oh, that he was the last one?
He was the last one for like a while, I think, because I want to say, like, I assume Lars and Velveteen were definitely gone before Cole. I think Dane was gone before Cole.
Canceled.
Actually,
not Dane, sorry.
Cole,
the other two.
Dane and Cole were around the same time. So anyways, but yeah, I think everyone from that match is gone. EC3's been gone for a while,
That was a cool match.
That was a great match.
Forgot about EC3, actually.
That's probably the only match of his that I really like.
Yeah, that's fair.
But not to compare to that too much, because I think that's just unfair, but it's not the same.
Because that was more established performers, and this is more like,
and it was
younger.
peak NXT too.
Like, it was.
That was the time.
But this had a couple really good spots. Ruka hit the soul snatchers pretty cleanly. Thought she was kind of a standout here. Really good effort. I enjoyed most of it. I went 3.5 stars. Nice yawn.
Thank you. Maybe I'll go 3.25.
And what are your thoughts on Lonnie as champion?
I guess you gotta get her some experience and just try stuff out. Like, I don't think it's gonna be amazing. And I saw a bit of her promo and I was just like, but
yeah,
we'll see. I guess
we'll get there. I'll talk about her.
I don't think anyone in the match is like where I'm like, oh, they would have been a great choice. It's like you just gotta choose someone and kind of get it up and running.
So neither of us got that one right.
No.
Then we move into the NXT Tag Team Championship match. It's Fraser and Axiom defending against the Good Brothers. Good old Gallows and Anderson. Not a lot of notes on this. The champs were in control early with their overwhelming speed, but then eventually Anderson takes control of Fraser. I liked some of Anderson's work in this match, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, Anderson's solid.
Axiom gets back in, lands a flurry, but he then takes his turn being isolated by the Good Brothers. Cool sequence with Fraser, the missile dropkick, backflip, reverse DDT, and shooting star press. It's the way he hits that backflip DDT, because it's all in like one shot, right? Like
he does like fast, yeah.
He does. So Anderson later hits a stun gun. Gallows actually executes a last ride powerbomb. And then I thought Anderson's avalanche gun stun looked awesome.
Oh, the like avalanche TKO?
Yes.
Yeah.
Axiom landed hard off of that.
That looked pretty sweet.
It did. So we get Fraser diving onto Gallows on the floor, tagging in. Axiom does the top rope Spanish fly to Anderson. Fraser follows up with the Phoenix Splash, their combination finisher, for the pinfall win in under 12 minutes. My thoughts were solid tag match. Nothing really that warranted a spot on a PLE, I didn't think.
Yeah, it could have been a TV match that would have been like a little shorter
if
it was on TV, but it was fine. And like Good Brothers put in a decent shift.
They did, and they put somebody over, which is rare. I thought Axiom and Fraser are awesome, but like you can only do so much with Gallows. I think he did look more motivated because it was a PLE or whatever, and they're in a storyline with AJ now, right, as well.
Yeah, and on main roster they never really get featured on like major things, so I guess like this is a solid spot for them.
Did you see
They're not really ever on main roster PLEs.
Do you see who the female member of the group is?
What group?
With the Good Brothers?
Yeah.
Yeah. Has that been a thing?
That's been a thing.
Really?
It's been a thing since 2022.
Wow.
She came in to combat the Rhea problem.
Sorry, we're talking about Michin.
Yes.
If you don't know, because I was like, what?
In the trio, or sorry, not in the trio, but like when they were feuding with Judgment Day, like the end of 2022.
Has this been SmackDown? Because I don't follow it.
It's been main roster. She's been on SmackDown.
This
she's
is
been
how
on main roster.
closely I follow
Michin's been on with them for like 2 years now. And then I think it's stupid because I remember complaining about this, and you might remember now it's the OC, the original club, Bullet Club. Michin?
No.
OC.
That sounds familiar, right?
Like, no, it's not.
Because on NXT, they do the whole too sweet, and I'm like, where's this from?
Yeah, it's weird. And it was like for a while too, and when AJ came back this year, he's in the Dark Broody thing. So then the OC became for a little while until like now, just Michin and them. And I'm like, what? No.
Okay, it's making sense now.
Yeah.
So I guess a quality win for the babyface champs. I'm hoping Good Brothers go back to main roster. I think they are, right, to resume whatever they're doing with AJ. They need to elevate, that being NXT, some of their own tag teams, I think, at this point, right? Because they have a bunch. Just put some time into some of them.
Yeah, you just need to put some stock in your own
people.
Stock.
Although then my suggestion in a minute. So I gave the match 3 1/4. I thought it was fine.
Bring in ABC.
I say ABC comes over for when we're there. What's that? Heat Wave in Toronto? That would be awesome. And somebody mentioned somewhere that I listened to or read note about Machine Guns coming in for one.
Machine Guns would be crazy.
That'd be awesome too. Then we get the underground match that you didn't watch, so I'll talk about it quickly here. It's Baszler taking on Lola Vice. Tons of strikes throughout this. Both of them are wearing MMA gloves, so I think they can lay them in a little bit stiffer because they got some padding there.
On this one too.
Sorry, what?
They went more MMA on this match too, which I guess makes more sense.
Yeah, it does.
Like,
they're
just
in
like
that
stylistically, and they
did.
More
they both can, and they're in that facility, and they're affiliated with UFC now, so it all makes sense.
Yeah.
Vice targets Baszler's leg throughout this with a lot of kicks, among other things. Early suplexes from Baszler, but Vice sends her into the ring post. So the ring posts are still there. It's just the ropes are gone, right? So they still come into play.
Turnbuckles, and it's literally just ring posts.
That's right. Baszler rocked Vice with a running knee and went for another after pulling the knee pad down, but Vice avoids it, hits Baszler with a back fist that knocked Baszler out of the ring to the floor, and then Baszler snaps and beats up some security on the floor, including a male security member. Vice kicks Baszler in the head and sends Baszler into the steel steps. Back in the ring, back fist followed by hammer fist. Referee steps in and stops the match in just over 10 minutes. So Lola Vice wins, which we both predicted. I assume we both...
I took Baszler in
you in spite.
In defiance.
Or in hope or whatever, and then didn't watch it. And I assume we both took Axiom and Fraser.
Yeah, I know I did for that one.
So here's the thing, and I don't know if I'm the only one, but it's not the action or anything that... of these matches that bothers me. It's the contrived atmosphere, I guess I would say. Like, we have missing ropes. It was super dark. It felt darker than usual this time.
Probably
the people crowding the ring and banging on the mat all match. I find that takes away from, like, this was a pretty good physical match, and these two can make a fight look real, right? So I just thought the rest of it is all like window dressing, and it feels like you're watching an 80s movie or something. You know what I mean? And you knew Baszler was taking this loss, but she looked good in this. Not that it'll matter, right? Sadly, it doesn't matter what she does.
No difference. She's off to Scotland to lose in a tag match.
Correct. So I'm sure a lot of people like this more than me. It seems to be the case with these matches. I went 3.5 stars. You can't.
NA.
Right. What do you think's next for Lola? I feel like she's slowly working her way up.
Is she a face or a heel, though?
That's the great question, especially after NXT this week. I wasn't quite sure.
Like, if she's a heel, I feel like you have to send her after Lonnie.
Right.
And if she's a face, then you have her work to Roxanne. Not yet, because I don't think she's at that level, but...
I feel like she's better suited for the North American.
That's what I'm saying.
And I'm hoping, like, it seems to fit best that she's a heel
the
chasing
heel makes
Kalani.
The most sense.
Yeah. Seems like
Which is why the feud with Baszler was
And
odd.
I think she'll be way more effective as a heel, too. I just feel like she's one of those.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Then you're back to watching this one, the North American Championship, a triple threat. It's Femi defending against Joe Coffey and Wes Lee. So the smart thing is, even though they're heel and face, Lee and Coffey double team
Wesley's
Femi.
gear was kind of odd.
I don't remember.
It was like the gray pajama looking.
Oh, right.
Tights.
It was.
Looked like something that would match a race car bed.
You did say that. That's right. So Femi ends up on the floor early, so the other two face off. Lee hits a twisting splash to Coffee, but Femi breaks up the pin and takes over, dominating both of them with power, including like a really easy double suplex from Femi. It's like ragdolls, basically. Femi up on the second rope, launches Wesley into a crossbody of Coffee. I said it looked cool. Does that make sense? Femi on second ropes launches Wesley into a crossbody.
Yeah, remember he was like on the rope and like Wesley was on top and then he like muscled him up and chucked him super high to crossbody.
Thank you.
That was a crazy visual.
Yes. Coffee tornado DDT, German to Lee as Femi is out on the floor again for a bit. We get a Lee double stomp to Femi on Coffee's shoulders into a Death Valley driver. That was cool. Femi hits a pop-up powerbomb to Coffee on the apron. Lee flips over the top. Femi catches him perfectly, remember, and powerbombs him onto Coffee.
That was sweet.
That was really nice. Cardiac kick to Femi, but Coffee breaks up the pinfall. Other Gallus show up to attack Femi on the floor and hit that running boot signature thing that they do.
I think it's a knee.
Is it? Coffee moonsault, Glasgow send off to Lee for a 2 count.
Surprised me.
Yeah, it was cool. Nice.
The Glasgow send off looks kind of cool too. It looks like he absolutely just
does.
Like,
and that he's
him in the
sacrificing himself a little bit on that too.
Yeah, I would have liked that set up into the best for the bells, but still.
Yeah. Femi rises and takes out Gallus. Lee with a nice flurry to Coffee, ending with the cardiac kick, but Gallus pull the referee out. Lee leaps onto Gallus. Femi blocks a clothesline, throws Coffee, power bombs Lee, then Coffee. Femi pins Coffee to retain after 12 minutes. Your thoughts on this one?
I liked it. I thought it was pretty solid. I do enjoy the multi-man matches with Femi. I think
it's
a really good formula, and I think Wesley's super entertaining. Coffee's actually pretty quality.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't have hated if he won, because I think he's definitely the best one in Gallus.
Mm-hmm, he is.
He's my favorite. He's the singles guy. But And then I think Femi's done really well in these multi-man ones, because the Briggs Dijak match was obviously really good.
It was. I love that match.
Yeah. So I think it was a good format. It wasn't as good as that one by any means, but I think they did some solid stuff here. I thought the crossbody spot was a really, really cool visual.
I really liked it.
So I thought it was good. It was one of my preferred matches on the night, probably my favorite.
So I think it's not just that the triple threat allows Femi because he's not super experienced, but it also creates opportunities for like the heel and face have to work together because he's so powerful. He can hit crazy power moves to both people and like throw people, onto other people.
Yeah,
like
it just builds him.
Creates a lot of opportunities for him to showcase. Yeah. So I really like this. I thought I was a little surprised at how much Coffee got in, since he was just a replacement to Ivar, right? Because I thought he looked good in this as well.
You could argue it might have been a 4-way. I don't know.
Maybe. I guess that's possible. So to this point on the show, it was my favorite match. I went 3 3/4 stars. I really thought this was an enjoyable match. And I feel like we're grade harder than some places, because to me, 4 stars is like really good.
Yeah.
So good match. Then we get the NXT Women's Championship. Roxanne Perez defending against, shout out to Braden on Poison Rana for coining this one. He said, what was it? The prohibited portal of TNA. So it's Jordan Grace coming over to challenge Roxanne Perez. And this is Perez trying to apply holds early, but Grace is just too powerful and is like picking her up and throwing her. Grace overpowers Roxanne, resorts to an eye gouge at this point because she's a heel now, right? Left arm work then by Roxanne, which would come into play throughout this match, which I'm a sucker for targeting. So already they get points for that. Grace kicks out of a leg sweep at 1, but Perez goes back to the arm. Grace catches Roxanne, crossbody, slams her down. Avalanche Blue Thunderbomb by Jordan Grace. Perez keeps coming at her with strikes, and Grace keeps just picking her up and slamming her, basically. Big Grace spinebuster for a 2 count. Grace hits a muscle buster. I think it was the second time she tried it. It was countered into a DDT the first time, and then a short head scissors DDT from Perez. Then little later, we do get the successful muscle buster from Grace, diving DDT to the floor by Perez, back in the ring with a springboard moonsault and a crossface. Pop-up back elbow by Jordan Grace, and then Pop Rocks countered. Perez is slammed face first as Tatum Paxley walks to the ring and takes Jordan Grace's belt and starts to leave. And so then, for some reason, Ash by Elegance comes out, and
she's back.
Grace attacks Ash, right? I think is what happened there.
She took out both of them.
Oh, she did take out both of them. Okay. So back in the ring, Grace hits a Death Valley driver, but Roxanne counters the Juggernaut driver into a cutter, then the Pop Rocks, and Roxanne Perez retains after 14 minutes. So this was my match of the night.
I didn't really pay attention to it.
You were not paying as much attention to this one. I thought Roxanne looked really smart, targeting Grace's arm to take away the power, and she used a variety of things that made sense to me. Grace looks like a beast. She dominates with power and explosiveness. They seem to have good chemistry, and I thought the pace was really steady throughout. Contrasting styles and limb targeting, so all things right up my alley, right? Really good match. There was zero chance Grace would win, I thought. I think some people were disappointed she didn't, but like, as if.
I mean, I understand being disappointed, but like, I don't think I actually expected it.
I don't think the first company of these two to have their title go to the other place is going to be NXT.
Yeah.
If it's happening at all. But I really got into this match, so I went 4 stars, but you're probably a little less than me, but
I don't even know.
And I thought it was smart to send Jordan Grace to NXT first. She's come across like a star, right? And
she's also in the Rumble.
She's so impressive. Maybe some people go, I'll check out this TNA. Clearly they have...
And then they'll get disappointed.
Right. Clearly they have top-notch talent like Jordan Grace, and then they flip over and it's AJ Francis. Yeah,
Hardy.
Exactly.
Hardy Boys reunion, stuff like that. Well, yeah, it's like, it'll be misleading if you see the guys like, it's like Jordan Grace, and they send over Jordan Grace or Machine Guns or Speedball or ABC or Josh Alexander, and then you're dealing with Nick Nemeth and Ryan Nemeth and the Hardys. Diener and AJ Francis,
PCO,
and Ash by Elegance, and PCO's love story.
The depth of TNA is not its strength, right?
No,
they have some good stuff, but they're like, it's not deep.
Yeah,
for sure,
and it's not what it once was.
Sexy Red, who is the host, I didn't really mention. She twerks with Lola Vice and Sarah. Remember, they get Schreiber to try to do it, and it was tough to watch.
Well, as soon as Lola Vice and Sexy Red are in the same atmosphere, I think you knew where it was going.
Yeah, 100%. Then the main event, the final match, it is Trick Williams defending against the newcomer Ethan Page. You can comment on Page's theme. I made a note here.
I thought it was solid.
I didn't mind it either.
I need a closer inspection, but
I thought it was
solid,
not offensive off the bat. So Page attacks right away until he misses a running knee, leading to some Trick strikes. Trick's in control, including a slam and a neck breaker. Trick gets run into the steps out on the floor. Double underhook draping backbreaker by Page. Page belly to belly twisting suplex for 2. Trick flurry ends on a flapjack and Page escapes to the floor. Page gets thrown into the barricade. Trick leaps over it to hit a crossbody. Page blocks a suplex, power slams Trick through the announce table. Back in the ring, Ego's Edge for a pretty good near fall. I didn't love that choice, but anyways, we'll talk about it. Page wastes time yelling at the ref before unloading strikes on Trick. The ref pulls Page away for some reason, and then Trick suddenly hits the Trick knee for the win after 12 minutes. Sorry, Trick shot is what it's called now. That's right. I liked it.
I don't like the finish. It just makes Page look dumb.
I agree.
Also makes Trick look lucky.
A little bit.
And just like, it's not like super effective.
I don't feel like refs commonly pull people off people either.
They do. It's just, I think it's just dumb that like he pulls them off right into a finisher and that's it. Like if it was a near fall, it's different, but
and it's not like it was 35 minutes of punishment. It was 12.
It's not like he took any other trick shots either.
Right. And I didn't love Page's finisher being hit clean and kicked out of first time.
Yeah, I thought like the parts where Page were in control are better from what I was paying attention to.
Yeah.
And then Trick is like, you have to develop Trick, so I can't be too harsh, but he's really not great as a top champion.
His title run is lackluster for me.
He's just not.
He and Swerve are under delivering for me right now. And it's more disappointing with Swerve just because I had mega high expectations at one point. It's not been terrible, and it's still salvageable, but
it is. But
it hasn't been.
With Trick, I feel like we always knew.
Yeah, that's right.
It was gonna falter on some points.
Right. And I think I don't even think NXT thought for sure he was a can't miss super champion. They're just, this is like try it out mode, right?
Well, and he is over right now, so they do have to capitalize on it now. Otherwise, like if you do it later and he's not as over, it makes even less sense to give him the title.
Right. I liked this match. I didn't think it was amazing. I went 3.5 stars. Didn't feel like a super important main event to me. Basically.
I don't even know.
And I think Trick is not at the point where it has to be an absolute ring general to pull out anything above, like to pull out a 4-star match with him. I feel like he's not there yet.
Yeah, and I don't like that he was the one to beat Dragunov.
I know, like Dragunov's incredible.
Dragunov should have been Mello finally gets the win on Dragunov, and then Mello can lose to Trick down the line.
Yeah,
should have done.
That's what they could have done for sure. So this show, I did some math because struck me as crazy, and the numbers, well, I had this feeling, and the numbers sort of bear it out. This show was just over 2.5 hours, right? So that's pretty short. That's a nice length for a show. So I'm fine with that. However, do you remember me saying how long the matches were on this?
No.
So, because I started thinking it was 2.5 hours, but every match I was like 12 minutes, 10, like, you know what I mean? So
all the video packages.
I went and did the math. 2.5 hours. So what's that? 150 minutes? 72 minutes of actual wrestling.
How's that possible?
The rest was trash in between. The longest match on this show was Jordan Grace and Perez at 14 minutes.
That's not good.
So 2.5 hours, where an hour and 12 minutes of that was actually wrestling.
That's not TakeOver.
So that is why you do not watch this live, people. That's my advice to you. You avoid spoilers. You watch it later.
Wait an hour even.
You get through the crap. So that's crazy to me. But anyways, one really good match, the women's title, 5 good matches with nothing terrible.
All match lengths that you could get on TV.
Yes. It felt like a
souped up TV.
Yeah, like a special episode, or like when TNA does like a half pay-per-view or whatever they are. You know what I mean? So the math of this says it was a 3.58 out of 5, which is like about a 72%, or a Canadian B-, because America does it different. And I think that's about fair, like B-. You didn't really miss anything.
Yeah.
Really like the women's match and the triple threat, if you want to check something out. All right, let's move into our regular stuff, and that is taking a look at this past Wednesday's episode of AEW Dynamite. All right, talk about Dynamite.
Kicking off with Swervington.
It was
Strickland. He's with Nana, and he's talking about the match at Forbidden Door against Ospreay. He said they're two of the biggest stars of this generation colliding, which is somewhat accurate. He said they're two absolute killers, and he stopped himself saying that there was one killer. He mentioned telling Ospreay a decade ago to have a killer mentality. He said he saw Ospreay beat Omega, and he said he saw an assassin. He saw an assassin get the job done to Takeshita and Danielson, but then there wasn't an assassin when he was facing Strong at Double or Nothing. He said that his nickname's Killshocks. If you don't pull a trigger, Swerve will. Swerve said Will's a fighting champion, unlike some EVPs who are yet to defend their titles.
Oh.
The Elite interrupt, and Okada said, "Whose house?" And then he said, "It's my house, bitch."
And crazy to note how excited you are to see Okada. And I'm not saying I'm not either, but like we say it all the time. We have come a long way on our Okada appreciation.
Oh yeah, I missed him last week.
Yeah,
he was
so
absent.
Always welcome his presence right now.
Yeah, he makes me chuckle, and just his delivery and everything is funny. I'm happy he's back for sure. Nick said they're here to talk about some business. He talked about how dominant they have been, while how they talking about they took out Omega, Eddie Kingston, and at NXT Arena they destroyed Team AEW. He said half the roster is gone because of them. And he said the trolls and bots still doubt them, while the wrestlers in the back don't think they're violent enough. He said they're challenging AEW's best to Blood and Guts, which is I think July 24th.
Nice. Almost your birthday.
Almost
in that ballpark.
Matt said this is where Swerve comes in the picture. The Elite came in the ring, and they said that they like Swerve and they think he's cool. Matt said he's young and a champion just like them. He said he asked Swerve if he wants to stand side by side with winners and with champions. And Matt asked him if he wanted to change the world with them and join their team to be the fifth man for Blood and Guts. He gave Swerve his Reebok super kicks. I think off of his own feet too.
It was, because he was in sock feet after that. And hence the joke about the size of them.
I thought so, yeah. Swerve responds saying he doesn't wear size 9s and no one wears pearl necklaces, which Matt was, which I thought was kind of weird once it was pointed out. I was like, oh yeah, that does look kind of weird.
There was a trend of that a little bit a couple years ago.
And he says he's a businessman and a philanthropist, which cues Nana to chuck the shoes into the crowd, which is kind of cool. Matt says the injury bug is flying around, and he says, quote, "It's landing on you, champ." The Elite gear up to attack Swerve, but then the Acclaimed run in to make the save. And after this, Christopher Daniels comes out, tells everyone to get out except for Jack Perry because he's wrestling Dustin Rhodes next.
I wish it was somebody bigger than the Acclaim that came out now that you're recapping it. But
I'm hoping that at the very least, Team AEW is Swerve and the two, then you still have two spots to like make it more interesting. Because I think they've been setting up the Acclaimed and the Bucks in a tag feud, which is fine because like,
Mm-hmm.
while I'm not crazy high on them anymore, I think that's okay.
Same.
Because I like them still.
But it doesn't fit for Blood and Guts for me.
It doesn't always fit for Blood and Guts. However, that could be like, they could subvert expectations. I just don't want Billy Gunn in it.
Fair.
Like, my nightmare was that Swerve and those three and another person. Like, if it's Swerve and the other two and two more people, that's fine. Like, Hangman will say, like, for example, right? Like, and, like, two other people, right? You can't have Billy Gunn in it.
But it needs to be people, like, similar to Swerve's level. It just feels like you're putting your main champion with a middling tag team right now.
But if they're the ones feuding with the Bucks,
they are.
It does make sense.
I was just hoping that would be done before then. But I thought it was kind of weird. I like that Swerve comes out and he's putting over Ospreay, and then the Elite come out and, like, it's a completely different topic and everything, right? But we've been saying that the Elite stuff is the most important
and
stuff
I do
going.
think Swerve having a couple things going on makes him feel more important. Not like MJF where it's this
too much
of 5 things he has to juggle, but like,
because we always say that's like real life. I don't go to work and only deal with 1 or 2 people.
I don't mind Swerve like having a feud with Ospreay and then also having to deal with the EVPs because they're kind of the overarching thing right now, and so him having to be involved with that makes sense, and it kind of helps him out too. Yeah,
and I do think it helps him being in the orbit with the Elite, which are the most pushed thing. Helps Swerve too, but that's kind of backwards that it is that way.
It is, but such is the reality we live in right now.
So I was fine with this.
Mm-hmm. I was to start us off. Still missing the edge I want, but I like what Swerve said about Ospreay, and I feel like the whole like you were an assassin, now you're not thing. It's that Tiger Driver thing again.
Yeah,
it's that story that they're continuing to tell with Ospreay where he messed up his hero with the killer move, and now
you're
he's
soft
like,
a little bit.
He's kind of
You're not quite the killer instinct you had now because you've eliminated something from your arsenal that a real killer would never do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that, and I'm interested to see like where this thread keeps going because they keep bringing it up.
Mm-hmm.
Strong brought it up. It was a point of contention with Callis, and now
then I think what you have to do is that has to manifest in their match somehow.
Yeah.
And that allows Swerve to retain.
I think so.
Right? Like, I don't know what the details would be, but I think that's what you have. Because that was my question. Like, who do you have win this? Because I don't think you can stop Swerve yet, even though I don't think you can.
And I don't want Ospreay to lose it either. But if they're telling a story with it, I don't mind Swerve getting that rub.
I agree.
If not Takeshita.
And AEW used to tell stories like that all the time. So hopefully they can do it again.
For sure. And I like what Swerve said back to them. At least he's finding the top storyline like we were saying. I hope the team for Blood and Guts isn't Swerve and the Acclaimed, or at least no Billy Gunn, because just
no.
Again, honestly, at first I was like, oh, I don't want the Acclaimed in this, but I'm like, I just don't want the Billy Gunn in it.
And we're like, Billy Gunn's one of the old guys that we're kind of fine with in a certain role, but this is beyond his station, I would suggest.
Making Jay White look like a little bitch, also.
Oh my God.
Also,
I think that's worst match of the year. I don't mean to spoil anything, but
it's up there because that really made me angry.
In a hard nominee spot for sure.
Yeah, for sure. We move into speaking of old guys who don't completely suck,
and me being angry because I was angry about
Jack Perry versus Dustin Rhodes for the TNT ladder match qualifying thingies.
And my opening comment was, you AEW had the opportunity to make a cool surprise opening match with Jack Perry. With some actual stakes attached, right? Because it's a qualifier. You chose Dustin Rhodes. Like, that's inexcusable to me. That's
dumb.
Regardless of if this match is a banger or not, when we get to the end, like, that choice alone is a problem for me.
It is, for sure. Perry gets backdropped on the exposed concrete floor that they had pulled off. Perry went for a V-trigger, got cut off with a scoop slam from Dustin. Strike exchange, Dustin gets the upper hand with the Bulldog. Shattered dreams from Dustin while the ref was getting rid of a chair. Perry counts the final reckoning since Dustin head first in the exposed middle turnbuckle he had set up earlier. DT on the exposed concrete floor from Perry. Dustin barely beats the count back in. Low blow and a running knee from Perry for the win.
Yeah, so Jack Perry, I know he's a heel, but he needs shortcuts, concrete floors to beat an ancient wrestler who never wins and never really appears anywhere. Feels kind of ridiculous to me. Like, bring somebody, I don't know, man, somebody more competitive, I was annoyed by the existence of this match, basically, regardless of
that you were.
It was probably fine, the match, but like, who could possibly care? The only thing I noted positive is that Jack Perry didn't touch the belt that was on display at ringside, which was a smart move because it keeps it possible that he can win it.
Yeah, it's the unspoken rule.
But yeah, why this choice? Why did it go the way it did? I had a lot of problems with this.
Yeah, it was fine, but not an ideal choice by any means. Don't hate Dustin, but I really don't need to be seeing him in this day and age.
No.
In these kind of spots, at least. Perry had to get the win here, so no surprises. Good for him. I just wish they'd chosen someone better, like you were saying, so Perry can showcase himself more, since the only match we've seen him in since he came back is Anarchy in the Arena, which is no in-ring showcase by any means.
No.
Perry's always going to get the win, or was always going to get in, to the ladder match. I don't mind him cheating because it just feels in line, but
yes,
it doesn't feel necessary for Dustin Rhodes, at least. But Perry does seem like the type, so
he does, and that's the thing, right? It is his character, but yeah, it's Dustin Rhodes on the other side.
We get Renee interviewing Mark Briscoe, Kyle O'Reilly, and Orange Cassidy, because we're getting a trios match real soon.
And Mark Briscoe saves this thing.
Mark Briscoe made this. Kyle said they're professional wrestlers who can fight on Saturday and team up on Wednesday, because Renee was asking him, because we had him versus Orange Cassidy on Collision, so Renee was asking about that. And I always find Kyle's delivery weird. Not bad, just weird.
Agree.
I don't hate him. I love the guy. It's just,
he just sounds like you're talking to a regular dude. Like he's not
awkward.
Yeah.
But again, I love the guy.
Same.
So, and he's an amazing wrestler, so I'll allow it. Orange said there are a few people who have his back, and someone else has his back. Willow comes in the screen. And then Briscoe's ranting about the 6-man tag, calling it a conglomerate. And he gets super fired up. And then Kyle, I will say his facial expressions are really funny. He's always been really good at that. So I really love this. I thought Mark was just super entertaining.
Yeah, very entertaining.
Just really likable. I thought Kyle and Orange Cassidy were fine. Mark really means for me. He's just uniquely entertaining, and I think I said a few times, he's another guy that kind of has won me over since he came here. Because when he came in the wake of Jay's unfortunate death, I was like, yeah, okay, I get it. We're going to honor Jay, and that's cool. But I feel like Mark has actually proven to have some staying power here, and I do enjoy when he's wrestling. He doesn't always have to win, doesn't always have to be a major spot, but I enjoyed him in the C2. His match last week was pretty good. So, and his promos here is just it is different. He brings some variety to AEW.
Absolutely. In-ring and talking.
In-ring and talking, yeah. So I really like this here. Just kind of, it gets you, and I'm not invested, I guess, or just the energy is infectious. That's what I'm looking for.
I told you it felt, and I'm not making any accusations or saying anything, but it reminds me of the 80s, cocaine era, some of those promos where he's just pumped up and sometimes I like it now though, because
now it stands out, right? And it's not
every promo.
And I don't think he's bordering on completely nonsensical too. He's just a wild redneck.
Exactly. And so I like having variety. So having him on a roster makes sense.
Briscoe's honestly probably up there with one of those guys who I just his delivery is distinctly his, and I love it. There's him, Switchblade, I think, Pac, which will come up later. But so I really enjoyed this a little bit. It was super enjoyable.
Yeah, he was funny.
Then we got Roosh versus Dion Roosman.
Didn't even get his name. I just had Jobber.
Well, I know because
no offense to him.
It came
up
on the title card, and they also kept saying Roosh versus Roos.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Running form hot at the gate from Roosh. He sends the Roosman in the barricade hard a few times. Corner chops from Roosh. Bull's horns, gets the win. He grabs the mic, tells some fans to shut up, then just does. He says he has his foot standing on Jobber's face, and he says all the fans he is weak. He goes for the Bull's horns again. MJ's music hits. He runs down for a brawl. They take out some security. Brief stare down. Brawl continues. Brawl goes over the barricade, spills in the crowd, goes backstage. Roosh whips a plastic bin at MJF. MJF drives Roosh through a table. Roosh lobs a plastic garbage bin at him until they are finally separated.
Yeah, I mean, I thought this was
MJF was showing watching a match later. He had ice on his hand, I think.
I thought this was a useful squash match, right? It establishes him a little bit ahead of facing MJF. Commentary were trying a little too hard to me. They dropped most vicious man in AEW, I think, during his entrance, and then at some point it was hottest wrestler in AEW for Roosh. So I'm like, love Roosh more than the vast majority of people, but no. Anyways, I feel like they're building this angle more than I thought they would when it was introduced, because I thought it would be MJF beats Roosh on the day they first interacted sort of thing, but they're actually using it to elevate Roosh, and I think that's awesome. And I'm not always a post-match brawl guy, but I thought it was more longer than the match for sure, right?
Yeah.
So, and it looked like they really hate each other, so it leads me to believe that we probably get a lengthy competitive match.
It is commercial free next week, so that's good.
So that's awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm. Short squash, but I thought it was actually an effective one, because I thought Roosh looked really aggressive here.
Yes, that's the point.
I thought it was a really effective squash and did what it was supposed to do. Makes him look money before he loses. Nothing fancy
before he loses.
Yeah. Nothing fancy, but it was well done. Post-match was solid. The brawl went a little long for my liking, but it does sell the feud really well, and it's more effort being put into Rouge, so I'm not going to complain a ton because I think it's all benefiting him.
Right.
Even if he loses, which he will. But I think it all benefits him. It helps him look good.
I agree.
Match should be good next week. I'm looking forward to that. Speaking of good matches, we're rolling into that trios match. It's Mark Briscoe, Kyle O'Reilly, and Orange Cassidy against the absolutely insane trio of Roderick Strong, Kyle Fletcher, and Konosuke Takeshita.
A lot of talent we enjoy in this match. Hard for this not to be good.
The heel trio is like, especially with Roddy's match last week, like that's just a crazy.
The All-Star Trios conglomeration is the face team.
It is. It's all
according to Briscoe, right?
Above. Oh, we got Callis on commentary with Trent T-Locks. Also there. So Callis on commentary, Trent's at ringside with him.
And before this even started, I was getting like the old school AEW trios vibes, like that era that we loved so much.
Where it's just like, the multi-man tags to kick off. And
yes.
Honestly, this should have started the show. But
agree.
Actually, go intro, then I want Mark's promo roll into the match because I want to keep that promo. The promo was good. Anyways, Takeshita caught Cassie out of a crossbody. Then while he's still holding him, he takes out Kyle O'Reilly. Then he lifts Cassie in a fireman's carry, takes out Briscoe, and then drops Cassie with the fireman's carry facebuster and the running single leg drop kick follow up. That was pretty crazy. Takeshita is a monster. Somersault dive through the middle ropes from Briscoe takes out Strong, but then Fletcher comes in hot with the suicide dive. Cassie dives onto the pile. Cassie and Trent stand off, and then Takeshita turns Cassie around to level him with the forearms that he does better than literally everybody else. Kyle O'Reilly hot tag comes in commercial break, or post-commercial break. Briscoe's all over the place with a lot of offense. It was shortly after. It was just, he was all over the place doing a bunch of stuff. Like, you can't keep up with that.
No.
But Briscoe's all over the place. You gotta love it. Diving DT to Fletcher from Cassie for 2 looked pretty sweet. Running corner and Sagiri. Oh yeah, this was the crazy stretch. So Fletcher connects with that running corner and Sagiri, but he absolutely smashed Cassie this time, drilled him in the face, and then a really fast and crisp snap half and half suplex, which was sweet. Then he gets caught with a knee strike from Kyle O'Reilly, who gets caught with a backbreaker from Roddy, who takes a fisherman buster from Briscoe. Takeshita counters a Dre Driller into the Blue Thunder Bomb. And then finally we get a tilt roll DT from Cassie, and Takeshita took it really flat out. Not even about it. It's just like, it was a really flat sell. And then Fletcher took a Stun Dog Millionaire, and Cassie and Kyle O'Reilly connect with like a total elimination, the high-low, which is kind of cool. Undisputed Era reference.
That's right.
Turnbuckle Brainbuster from Fletcher, which is awesome. But Briscoe made the tag unbeknownst to Fletcher, so he hits the Froggy Bow for a 2 count with Strong breaking the pin. The finish comes when Briscoe takes a power drive knee from Takeshita, and then Fletcher, it's like a pile driver, but he lands on his knees instead. It looks really cool.
Awesome.
So yeah, Briscoe takes that gnarly 1-2 punch, and the heels pick up the win, which was a little surprising for me, but I'm happy with that. Especially for Fletcher and Takeshita. Trent beats down Cassie after the match while Takeshita's attacking Briscoe. Willow's music hits, but Statlander attacks her, and she gets thrown out of the entrance tunnel. Quick promo from Stokely saying, he tells Willow to wake up and says he tried. He said, next time she watches this back, he said, next time you try to get into our business, they won't be dragging her down the stage, they'll be dragging her to the ER, or the local medical facility.
Right, how dare you. Final few minutes of this were absolute breakneck pace. Really fun to watch, but like impossible to take notes on. I honestly caught myself rooting for every fall to be broken up because I just wanted this to continue. Honestly, right?
I was surprised that the Froggy Bow got broken up because that's
I expected that to finish it. This is the type of match that should be like AEW signature matches because like nobody else is really doing stuff like this, and it's super fun to watch. Awesome match, I thought. Great TV match with, again, they found a way to sort of further the Willow Statlander situation with it taking up too much time.
And I guess like Trent Cassidy is still looming as well.
So cool match. I really enjoyed it.
Sure.
I'm sure you did too.
Yeah, this match got this awesome chance just before the finish in that final stretch. I think that's very apropos. This is a great TV match with a phenomenal group of talent. Not a single person is in this match I don't like to watch in ring, including a couple of my favorites in Takeshita and Fletcher. And Roddy's been stellar lately, as I was raving about the other week. I felt like everyone got some time to do stuff as well, and it worked out great. Things got super hectic towards the end, as they tend to in matches like this, but it was all the more fun. Everything worked well. It was well paced. There were a lot of sick strikes and some really cool sequences. I'm surprised a little that the heel squad got the win, but I'm not complaining, as I love those guys a lot. I hope the Trios division gets back to along these lines, because stuff like this is too fun to watch.
Very fun to watch.
And we need more.
I agree.
We get a brief video package for Shingo Takagi of New Japan Pro Wrestling. He, with subtitles, talks about who he is, how I think he's the current ever openweight champion. We get some highlights of him, and he's entering the Owen Hart Cup. It was solid. There's not a lot here, but I don't mind a couple of outsiders for the tourney to spice things up. It doesn't make a ton of sense with the all-in title shot being on the line, but it does make things more interesting, so I'll take it.
Yeah, I felt it was just like a quick intro to Takagi here, but you also missed the important vignette.
I haven't seen a lot of him either, so
you missed the linchpin promo before it, where Renee was like, "I talked to Phoenix earlier today."
Okay, bye.
As he's standing right behind her,
and then she's just we can go to Takagi.
Yeah, Takagi is cool, and if you were to bring people from New Japan over, he's one of the ones. Like, for example, I'm much more excited about seeing Shingo than I am Naito.
That's fair.
So I like Shingo's cool, and I haven't seen enough of him. I've only seen a little bit when he first got there and then became like a heavyweight or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
I know he was world champ briefly, but
he was. He's a good wrestler, man.
Mm-hmm. Then we get Christopher Daniels promo. He says Okada and the Bucks will have eliminator matches next week. He says Okada's used to having everyone barred from ringside with the Continental rules. He said this will apply for the Bucks match as well, so we can see how elite they really are. This is fine. It's almost a title defense for the Bucks, so I'll take it. And Okada wrestling is a plus as well.
Yeah, and Daniels is kind of bland in this role, but it's almost what I want.
It's kind of what you need, right?
Right. It's not about him.
It suits him.
He's just
a role.
Vehicle to deliver information. I don't need any more with his character than that. So I think he's fine.
Yeah, it's totally working. I think it's been solid so far.
Yep.
Next we get the Premier Athletes versus Samoa Joe and Hook. We see Hook and Joe backstage. They go up, like we see them go through the curtain. They attack the Premier Athletes during their entrance. Shibata's got a camera on stage.
Oh yeah, he's the cameraman for some reason.
That was kind of funny.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't mind Shibata just doing random crap. Jabs from Joe, back knees in the corner, followed by some rapid body blows. Corner clothesline from Joe, and he throws him into a lariat from Hook. Premier Athletes with a couple tandem beatdowns on Hook in the corner, nothing super advanced. Mark Sterling interferes, gets taken out by Shibata. Then we get stereo chokes from Joe, Hook, and Shibata on Nice, Daivari, and Sterling, respectively. Josh Woods is conspicuous by his absence.
Mm-hmm.
The finish comes in during that trio of submissions. Daivari taps to the Red Rum to give the win to the Cool Boys.
Yeah, pretty much an enhancement match.
Another effective one, though, I thought. I think
so
this
too.
team's really cool concept, and I like what we've gotten so far.
I agree.
Even though it's just been little bits.
And sort of the Shibata's included too, so it's like there's a couple mentors.
That's a killer tree. I'd gladly leave Shibata in there.
Right. And why does it feel like Joe and Shibata will actually elevate Hook, like contrast to Jericho, where you're just sure like
Jericho doesn't help anybody.
They're there in Jericho's shadow to support his like self-indulgent whatever he wants to do.
Because Joe actually did elevate Hook already with that match.
I agree.
And I feel like he would actually do that. Jericho, just like, whether it's his intent or not, he does not help.
And I like that Hook, like, in this match, he's already learned the walk away dodge thing that Joe does. So he should be adding little things from Shibata and Joe along the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he like starts whipping a PK or something.
Yeah, so I thought, again, like, we had a squash match that I thought did a good job and an enhancement match, which to me is slightly different, that I also thought was useful.
It did its job very well. I'm still intrigued to see where this goes. I hope it works out because I think this has really good potential and I like what we've seen.
Yep.
We got a quick package from Stephanie Vaquer. She says, Monet is one of the best, but her arrogance is plain offensive. She says she's worked hard around the world and the strong title is hers. It's not going anywhere. And she says she'll be the first dual strong TBS champion to ever been door.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was pretty basic stuff. I don't know anything about her at all.
Yeah, I thought like clearly her English isn't her first language, so it was pretty basic. But for what it was, I thought it was solid.
And I think she looks cool, so I'm optimistic.
I'm interested to see her for sure. I'd like to see her get a Dynamite match before then, so we kind of have some level of expectation. But
instead, we get her tag partner.
Yeah.
So, and again, like, I love to see new people, but I'm sure the other women in the promotion are not thrilled. Like, we don't get on TV already, and now you're bringing
I feel like if you're going to bring an outsider, I feel like I said, you should have put more stock into back air.
Yeah.
And so next we get Mercedes Moné defending the TBS title against Zeuxis. And another thing with this is like, I know they do random time matches sometimes, and that's fine. But for me,
it's the random of the random.
It's random of the random, but like it's also to me, this is, for those who know, Stephanie Vaquer's tag partner. They're the CMLL women's tag champs. And so for me, it's like, oh, hey, friend, you're challenging for this title at the main pay-per-view. I'm going to challenge before you. And then we can fight each other?
Has her name even been mentioned before?
No.
Right? So
I only knew this because I think I saw like the post or whatever. I wouldn't have known this unprovided.
So make it a match, and I guess because Monet's still babyface technically.
Sure.
Because you could do the Zeuxis is here to soften you up.
Yeah, do a non-title match.
Monet knows that's the case and still doesn't care.
Do either a non-title match with Zeuxis, or I'd prefer having even an enhancement for Vaquer, because I'd like to see
me too
what she's about, just so we can gauge expectations. Because right now I'm
kind of also in the camp of not knowing a thing is kind of interesting.
It is, but I'd like to kind of have somewhere to set my expectations. Yeah. You know what I mean? But anyways, we get Mercedes Moné versus Zeuxis. There's this cool bridging roll up from Zeuxis for 2. It was she rolls her up and then kind of bridges over her legs. It was I think it's called Charlotte's Web is what it's called.
Oh yeah,
I thought that was cool. It's one of those effective looking roll ups that I was because when a roll up looks good, it looks like it could actually catch you. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I always like when we get an effective looking one.
Right.
Which is why Yuta using the slam in the seatbelt doesn't always bother me, because I feel like the seatbelt does seem like a hard one to kick out of.
It does.
So that's why I always like
seatbelt, and somebody else has one that looks
Darby's Mousetrap, I think.
Yeah,
it was.
That's the one.
Oh no, Mousetrap was Orange Cassidy. Last Supper is Darby.
There you go.
The names are so random. Mousetrap actually kind of makes sense to me.
I agree. It looks like that mechanism sort of,
and just the fact that it's trapping you kind of out of nowhere. Just even just the idea of a mousetrap kind of makes sense to me. Anyways, running basement dropkick from Zeuxis knocks Cede Monet off the apron. Sit up powerbomb from a fireman's carry from Zeuxis for 2, which is really cool. Wheelbarrow bulldog from Monet. W's in the corner from Monet to Zeuxis. And then the same when Zeuxis is seated in the corner. Diving Meteor from the rope from Monet for 2. Really, really cool butterfly lung blower from Zeuxis for 2.
We went back and watched it again.
It was like if you did the Angel's Wings from by Daniels, or Tommaso Ciampa's Fairytale Ending, but then you ended it in a code breaker.
It looked awesome.
Moneymaker from Monet for the win. Not awesome.
She needs a new finisher, man.
I said, because I said the butterfly lung blower in particular is pretty sweet. Maybe Monet should steal that because she needs a finish.
Honestly, I know they
go back to the bank statement, the backstabber and the submission.
I agree.
I never had a problem with that.
Me either, because I'm backstabber on its own is not a finisher, but when you roll in and transition directly into,
and the submission, it wasn't always the cleanest transition, but it kind of makes sense in my head.
And it's move to the back, submission to the back right away.
Exactly.
I like that. I thought Zeuxis looked really good here. Maybe stood out more than Monet. In fact, I was a little surprised at how much time this match got, but I quite enjoyed it. So
I thought it was solid. And
in theory, if Vaquer is the better of the two, and I thought Zeuxis
was Vaquer is the good one, yeah.
So that should be pretty entertaining. And yes, the finisher needs to. I think they like the idea of the flipping part of it, like the person sort of flipping over.
It would be cool if she could actually grab them even once.
The impact doesn't really look great.
Because the idea is, it's for those who know, it's the gory stretch position, switch around into a DDT. And I get that, but it's she's never able to grab them effectively enough for it to look good.
And I thought Monet looked good in this outside of me not liking the finisher.
Outside of the finisher, I think she's still good in the ring.
But I was more impressed with Zeuxis.
For sure. I thought she got good showing from a new audience. And she had some cool stuff. Not a lot was notable from Monet, but she was still quality. She just needs a new finish. It's just, I don't think I've seen her look good once.
No.
I remember she horribly botched down Kairi Sane the first time she hit it. So I don't think it's ever been good.
I know what they want it to be, but it's not.
Exactly. I see the vision, but it's not that.
Agreed.
It isn't there. And for me, it's just different because she has a finisher that I never hated. So
same.
I don't understand. If you want a pinfall finisher for her, develop something better, please. Mm-hmm. Or just have her, if she loves Eddie Guerrero so much, just do a frog splash. I don't really care.
Yeah.
If we have to go basic like that, just do that.
Yeah. I saw him a bit of the Guerrero Ray for the custody of Dom on TV, and Guerrero was just juiced out of his. That was the year
he died.
He was incredibly humongous for being a small guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
That was his year. Mm-hmm. Then we get a Mirin Shirakawa package. We get Mariah May talking about how special she is, and she talks about her accomplishments. I think she was tag champ, world champ, trios champs, and Stardom.
I loved learning that.
That was cool.
The credentials I really liked
tag champs together, I believe.
Yeah.
Which is more important, and she's done it all. They talked about how much they enjoy hanging out together and being together, and May said Mina is dangerous in the ring when the bell rings. She's like, I'll party in the entrance, and then flip switch, kind of like Festus.
Yeah. Wow. Deep pull.
Mina said she came to America to win some gold, and she wants everything. Mina's so odd. The way she's Everything, it's oddly entertaining.
I agree.
This gave us some history, which is good. There's still so much I don't know, and it's not a negative. It's just it's interesting. confuses me.
I agree. I think she's super interesting.
It's more of like a angry. It's less of an angry confusion, more of like a bewilderment.
And I want to know more. I want to see her again.
But like, I don't know how we know more either, because like this helped me know more. But at the same time, I feel like because we do know more, but at the same time, I feel like I don't know more.
Because it's kind of them acknowledging, like, yes, we have this weird dynamic, and here's where it came from, but the dynamic still doesn't make sense.
Me. Yeah, but I don't hate it.
No, I liked hearing about her credentials and how she's connected to May, and I just hope she impresses in the ring because I'm really interested. And she's not contracted, right? Contracted, sorry.
No, I always assume she's still in Stardom.
So again, another random woman taking a spot, but I'm interested in them. So I think she's cool. I'm hoping in ring she looks awesome.
We saw her on Collision.
Yeah, and I thought it was good.
She was solid.
Yeah.
Then we get a Storm May follow up. May informs Storm that Mina will be there next week. She wants a contract signing, which will be mediated by Mariah May. And Renee says Storm has a match on Rampage. And Storm says some stuff I don't care about.
But it's less of her, which
less of her, which was nice. And May thanked her for ending her in the Owen Cup. I like May in the Owen Cup. I'd take her to win it. I think she deserves it, and it'd be great for her. I feel like the segment next week could either be entertaining or horrible.
And I'm kind of interested because it's like May's in the middle. Two of her friends that makes sort it more of facing off.
Yeah.
Which makes it think like from the Owen Hart, you would be able to build some story. With that, right? She's
able to challenge for Storm at All In, and Storm's threatened by that or something. Unless Hayter ends up in the Owen Cup, I don't know.
So what I'm also a fan of is as May emerges and we get more of her, we get less of Storm. So this segment didn't bug me that much because it's mostly Mariah May.
Yeah, for sure. Better.
Who I prefer. So I'm okay with the direction we're going, I think.
Yeah, I feel like the segment next week could either be really great or horrible, depending on how they go about it. I don't know. It'll be interesting.
This is my speaking of segments that could go horribly. Segue.
Yeah, that did. I titled this as Jericho tests my patience to see how long it takes me to punch the TV.
I told you, one of my favorite wrestling podcasts loves this current character.
Is that putting you off?
Especially Brian Keith. No, because whatever, you have your opinions, and I'm sure I differ on from a lot of people, but I don't know, man. They think
Brian Keith's one of my least favorite parts.
They think that he's like stealing the show. Or stealing the segments, sorry. The show's not accurate.
Stealing the show.
But anyways, go ahead.
A better grade.
We'll talk about it.
Redwood. I'm not even gonna. Big Bill says, oh, that reminds me. If he comes in as Tala Tonga, I will never stop laughing at him.
Yeah, he will be.
Like, that's better than... Remember how I used to giggle at Big Bill every time?
Yeah.
Tala Tonga's like a million times. Like, every time I see him, I will giggle.
Tala.
It's...
Who Tala, then Tonga.
Tala Tonga's 7 feet tall, and you can't teach that.
That's right.
Anyways, Big Bill, Large William, Large Cassidy.
Redwood.
Colin Cassidy, if you will. Mr. Lexi Nair.
Mr. Lexi Nair, nice.
There you go. He said, it's never too late to start learning. It's never too early to start winning. I can't. He introduced Jericho out, so that's great. He advised Iowa about their corn, and he said that it didn't work for me, brother.
Like their soil needs whatever and blah, 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 so you need to do this.
As someone who's been eating corn for over 3 decades, something like that. Yeah. I don't know.
Awesome.
He kept talking about corn, and then Keith told the fans, if you want to grow corn, you better respect Jericho. What does that even mean? That doesn't mean anything.
He's a joke at this point.
Yes, like... It's a caricature, and it's a bad one.
Yeah,
but it's like when we were watching this too, he was like, "You better, if you want to go corn, you better respect Jericho." I'm like, "What are you talking about? That doesn't make sense."
No, not at all.
What you brought these two ideas that are completely unrelated.
Like sometimes when like R-Truth does stuff that doesn't make sense, it's kind of funny. I don't find this funny.
It's also sometimes stupid when R-Truth does it.
So I'm not R-Truth currently
right now.
At all.
No, for sure,
not at all.
But yeah, I was like, "What are you on about?"
Yeah.
No. Jericho said he respects all branches of his tree in the Jericho Vortex. He just wants those buzzword catchphrases so much.
Oh, he's just throwing them up there and hoping one of them latches on with somebody.
Yeah.
His names, his little phrases. He's just like,
sure.
Let's throw a whole bunch up there.
He introduces Private Party as guests. They come out. Jericho said, if you want to do some shots, referring to the theme, then have a designated driver. Call back to last week.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, I was so afraid we'd get a repeat of last week. Oh, Jesus. He said Private Party is a good tag team, but they aren't winning matches. Jericho said that their trainer wasn't very good, and he said he knows how to do the basics properly because he was trained by Stu Hart in the dungeon. Well, if only Stu Hart could see it now, he'd be rolling in his grave. They don't even climb the top rope properly. Cassie suggested that Jericho could teach them.
So stupid.
Dumb. They called him the Caitlin Clark of AEW. Who's Caitlin Clark?
The WNBA. Like she's like
gross,
transcending women's basketball sort of thing.
Neat.
Mm-hmm.
Jericho showed them how to climb top rope. They knocked him off, or they crushed him up there.
By like stepping one foot on one and then stepping the other foot on the other. This is what we're invested in.
So dumb. Or like, what about the RVD lift? I'd like to see Jericho do that.
Yeah.
He's like, this is how you do it, guys, and he just like screws it up completely. Then they knock Keith and Bill out of the ring. They do like stereo dives, which was pretty well done. Cassie hit a swanton to Jericho, which was okay. It was kind of like Wardlow's, where he mostly just hit him with his head. But then Quen's shooting star was magnificent,
amazing. The highlight of this segment,
graceful, like just the way he. I missed when he had like the cape thing and he would do it.
He almost looks like he has time to do a double. Right, he gets so high.
It's like the one motion in 2K where it's just like that smooth flip. He just does it like so smoothly. It's impressive. I love it. Okay.
Yeah, this wasn't. I'm glad Private Party got some TV time, but being in Jericho's orbit is more than likely not going to do anything for them, and everybody involved becomes a joke. So I don't know, man. I wouldn't want to see the script and be like, "Oh, you're in a segment with Jericho this week."
I just feel like, oh shit.
So at least it was shorter than I was expecting, and Quen's
it wasn't as bad as the first TV time one, but that's not saying a lot.
Yep, so it's no good, but it wasn't super long, I guess.
I still hated this. I wanted to go away so badly, please. I don't know what I have to do to free myself, but I wanna be free.
Yes.
I'm just glad that since not put Private Party in this group, because I like them. I want more for them because I think they're a really cool team for the future if they actually get some steam behind them. Because last time the HFO, the AFO, the Hardy Andrade crap stuff, that really derailed them.
It did.
To the point where like I was really happy when they came back on the first show this year because I was like, oh great, they're back to what they're supposed to be. They have a lot of potential. Not much has happened since then, so I'm really hoping that they realize some potential because I like them a lot. Me too. Even if you could find them a good third and you want to throw them in the trios division, I'm more than okay with that. I just want something for them because I feel like we have a lot of young stars like in the singles division, like because Takesha's still young, MJF's really young, like Fletcher, if you want to throw him up there. We have a lot of options. Like Ospreay's not old either.
No.
But I feel like tag teams, like Private Party's one you can really focus on in the future. They could be your next Young Bucks in a way. Yeah. So
you got them and Top Flight are young.
Them and Top Flight.
I don't know.
I guess if Aussie Open did come back, you could do them. But I just think we need to do better with them. And so I hope they get out of this soon because otherwise they will lose their youth.
Yes. This will be an 18-month program.
They'll lose their youth and any buzz they could have possibly had around them.
I fear.
And their happy return will be a distant memory.
Yep.
Then we get a Mox Naito package. Mox talks about the IWGP World title and how he's been chasing for 5 years. I'm almost positive that was a recycled bit because I remember him saying that before.
Could be.
Mox says he'll finish the job this time at Forbidden Door. Naito's a dead man. This is solid. It added a bit, but not much. And like I don't care a ton, but it could be good.
You know, I love Mox, but I said before Naito's never been my favorite, and I tried really hard because I thought he was kind of quirky and different, so I was hoping he was my once Nakamura, who was my favorite.
He never got his time though, did he? I
was hoping that Naito would sort of fill that void for me, and he never really did. So I don't have a ton of interest in this. It'll probably be a good match. Naito's not my guy. Like I'm way more interested in seeing what Shingo is going to do,
or even Okada right now.
Right. So it's like Moxley did what he does, but I don't really care a whole lot.
Yeah, maybe some more extensive build in there. Then we get the Bang Bang Gang, which is always welcome. No Jay White though, so Cardblade is present.
He was, yeah. Took a beating, unfortunately, at the end of this.
Austin says they've been hearing about how badass House of Black is, and then they mock the lights off bit, which was pretty funny. Colton says they claim to be the reapers of the division, but they see otherwise, and they just reap gold. Juice talks about he suggests how about they get some action with the Bang Bang Gang on Collision, and Collision is the house that they built. I mean, I do remember for a while Juice was in like a match every week.
Yeah, they seem to be pretty frequently.
They were back when there was a
soft Guns too, maybe
back when it was a soft brand split. Well, that's where this Bullet Club Gold really came together. That was that epic tag match from last year with Juice and Switchblade. So yeah, back in the days of the soft brand split, thanks to a certain Chicago native, they were Collision guys.
Whose close affiliate will be mentioned in
Can't wait.
Next segment.
And yeah, so Juice says it ain't big enough for the both of them. Austin says they're getting their asses kicked. Solid promo. I always love these guys. They're great entertainment value. I am so happy Juice is back because he's just like, I mean, Okada's funny whenever he speaks to me, but just looking at Juice and I giggle a little because he's just funny.
And his style feels kind of retro too, right?
His style is unique and it's retro. I love Juice so much. I think this is an odd combination with them in House of Black, but like, I don't know, it could be good. I feel like they can't really win without Switchblade though.
And was it Colton that referred to them as the three? Because obviously Jay White wasn't there as 3/4 of the trios champs, which I thought was
that was Jay White's thing when he anointed.
A good line.
He like, I think it was on Rampage I think it was Rampage. He like knighted, because you know how he had the baseball bat, so he like knighted Juice as 1/4 of the trio, which I think is awesome for them, and it might be stupid in another
it's funny.
another group's hands.
It's on brand.
I love them too, for sure.
I enjoyed it.
Then we get a quick squash. It's Daniel Garcia versus the Factory, formerly of the Factory, Nick Camarado.
He is an absolute.
He's a burly guy,
bear of a man.
He looks so much different though when he's shaved.
Yeah, he looks so big.
He is beefy.
Yeah, it's like Zangief.
Zangief. That is, yeah. I see the facial. If he had that kind of facial hair,
the size and the body hair, like that's.
Although I see Zangief in Cage too when he does the Zangief gear.
Yeah, he is huge.
Oh, he is beefy.
Yeah,
he's beefy.
Didn't matter. Didn't help him here.
Was barrel chested is the word?
Yeah.
Face wash boots in the corner from Garcia. He escapes the military press and pretty impressive side to suplex, getting him up for that. That was cool.
Honestly.
And he subdues Camarado with a guillotine, then kind of hits him like an underhook gutbuster for 2. I think it's called a bloody cross. I've seen it before.
That was one of my things
for the win. I thought that was cool.
New finisher. Wasn't expecting a total squash with Camarado being like the biggest thing ever. But yeah, I don't know. And you had Ospreay watching backstage, MJF somewhere else watching backstage. So it's almost like, here's a quick way to give Garcia a little bit of respect by like 2
and paying for the thing that he's going after Ospreay,
right?
Because he did say that.
So yeah, he got a squash win.
Another solid squash team up for Ospreay, not much, but it was solid. Ospreay gets interviewed right after. He said he'd love to talk about how Garcia is putting him over a bit. But he has a match with Phoenix to focus on and a contract to hand back. So I like this. Even in this little bit where he's focused on other things, he's still like, yeah, Garcia's sick.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I didn't really have thoughts on this. That's a good point.
Then we get one of my highlights of the show, honestly, was Pac promo. He's like in that dark area. I don't know. Like it looks like he's in the tunnels or something.
Yeah, it's almost like not
there.
Quite the Mankind boiler room vibes, but he's basically in the back hall.
I see what you're saying with that, though, for sure.
With his like hair across his face, kind of thing.
I love when he's interesting. He's cool. He's his own thing.
He is.
He talks about how since he's returned, he's failed time after time, and he feels like a bitch when he's supposed to be a bastard. He says it ends now, and he's angry, which is when he's at his best, and he'll be entering the Owen Hart Cup or the Cup, and winning it. He says he'll claim his all-in-title shot at Wembley because he'll be damned if a talent of his caliber never gets his Wembley moment and never holds the AEW title. And he says to the Bang Bang Gang that Death Triangle haven't forgotten what was done to them, and they never forget.
Yeah, I love Pac.
I could watch promos like this every week all year.
His intensity, his vocabulary, and like...
what's the word? Isn't addiction is like your word choice?
Yes.
His word choice sometimes is just like, I think it's like something trodden on. Like I don't know what that means, but you can get what it means.
The Brits tend to have pretty good vocabulary.
He's got a really nice vocabulary. Or
just different words than we use. So
I do like it.
He acknowledges recent history, right? Like, I'm supposed to be a bastard. I have not been lately. It's time. Like,
and I even like the little bit of vulnerability. Like, I feel like a bitch. And it's just like,
he is a way better all-round performer than he gets credit for. I think the average person is like, he's an amazing aerial, whatever. No, man, everything.
He kicks hard,
striking, grappling, whatever. At like character work,
he can cut a promo better than a lot of people. He's one of my favorite promos.
He is an all-rounder. Yeah, he's in my top 3 favorite wrestlers in the world. If I really thought about it, probably.
He's always been a favorite of yours. I've been a fan of him since. The King of the Cruiserweights was always awesome. That was one of my first favorite heels.
Exactly. Once he was successful as a heel, which I was incredibly skeptical just with his moveset.
And just he never looked the part, but then growing out the beard and
he was amazing.
King of the Cruiserweights was special.
That's one of my favorite cruiserweight anythings, probably.
Him, at least if we're talking modern cruiserweights, it's him and Buddy Murphy for me, and it ends there.
Yeah.
I love his promo style so much. I don't know how to explain it, but he's got this own distinct way, his word choice, his delivery. It's so satisfying to watch. You really just have to see it just
and you
to
believe
get it.
Him. Yeah,
buy. He's legit. I buy what he says.
Yes.
I love him being in the Owen Cup. If the finals aren't him versus Danielson, I don't want
it.
It has to be. It's him and it has to be. You can't.
I'm fine.
If
with
it's
that.
anything else, I quit.
Bring it on.
I would almost rather him win too. Like,
I know.
sorry, Daniel. Like, if it's in Wembley, I would almost rather it. Especially if like
I
him
can't wait
versus
for
Swerve
that.
would be crazy. Like he has to get an all in at some point because I think he was out last time.
Right.
So he has to get on this time.
The only knock on him is some injuries.
Yeah.
Right?
And even through in the Bullet Club Gold business, so we can revisit that down the road. Like if you gave him and like, what if we did like a ladder match with them in Death Triangle and Wembley, if that was the backup plan or something.
Yeah.
It would be crazy. Or
That'd
like,
be cool.
My pitch here was it won't happen, but what if we did another best of 7 trios? But like with Bullet Club Gold, you could change up the guys every time.
That's true. There are 4.
There's 4 quarters of the trios champions.
That's
so,
right.
I think that'd be cool. It won't happen again, but the best of 7 series was such a happy time.
It was really fun.
It was what a time to be alive.
It was. It was.
Because that was like our end of the year thing. And then we had C2 last year. Like
yeah, C2 was awesome too.
What if we had those overlapping? That would have been like the best.
Gotta
time
spread
of
it
my
out.
life.
You know, it's okay.
But then it's like there's 2 things every week that are gonna be not suck.
True.
Like because Jericho is so suck.
He is.
I swear to God, if our new pattern is 1 week you get a long segment and then the next week you get 4 short segments, I will like actually stop.
We'll be noticed if we ever get a week off from it. We'll be mentioned for sure.
If I'll be very tempted to give the show an A
Automatic
if he's
A?
not there. Yeah.
Right.
Then we go to our main event, which is Will Ospreay versus Rey Fenix for the AEW International Championship. I wrote, it's insane. I don't know how I'm gonna take notes.
Yeah, it's a tall task to take notes with these guys.
There's a lot of fast back and forth counters and acrobatics right off the bat. Just the stuff only these guys could do. Maybe Ricochet.
Yeah.
Rope step Hurricane Run on the outside from Phoenix, which is really cool. Frog splash back in the ring, gets a 2 count. Handspring corkscrew kick from Ospreay for 2. I thought Phoenix's sell was really interesting. Phoenix steps up the ropes and it's a spin kick to Ospreay seat atop the corner. Avalanche and a Corona. Nope. Ospreay lands on his feet.
Ridiculous.
Just awesome every time. Ospreay goes for a tilt-a-whirl DT. Phoenix slips to his feet. It didn't look as much of a handspring to his feet. It looked more like he'd no-sold it, but I think that wasn't the point.
I agree. I think the plan was that he dodged it too.
Understandable.
And Ospreay has a really great look on his face, right? Like that's a little detail of when he's looking at Phoenix, like, how are you not? That was a nice detail.
That was really cool. Then another thing that was really cool I thought was there was a back and forth, and Ospreay went for that Spanish fly he always does. But I think there's some communication because Ospreay did the flip, but Phoenix didn't jump. But then Ospreay, because he's a regular person, just hangs on and does some modified air raid crash driver type move.
Yeah.
For, like, what are you?
It looked
really cool. I'm just
looked to us like an audible that was perfectly executed.
Incredible. If it is an audible, which that's what he said in like a tweet or whatever. That's incredibly impressive because it looked like it was a really cool move, like randomly just kind of pulled out of his ass.
Yeah.
And just to have the wherewithal to be able to catch that, nothing goes wrong. Because like even in the Phoenix Moxley match, like the driver messed up and like that's a big like something could have gone wrong here. Maybe Phoenix unrotating, but just to have the wherewithal to hang on and be able to pull something out to make it look where like it almost didn't look like anything was messed up.
Oh, if you didn't know, I don't think.
If I didn't know, I don't think I would have caught it.
I agree.
Because I knew beforehand, but like that just goes to show for me how crazy Ospreay is, because that's a really impressive thing to call on the fly.
Absolutely.
Pun intended. Moonsault into a German suplex from Phoenix for 2, which was really cool.
It was.
Wasn't perfect landing. Like he had to kind of take a sec to grab him, but it looked really cool.
It looked good, yeah.
Execution still. Oz cutter was scouted by Phoenix. Then Ospreay flipped over the back suplex and hit one anyway. It was a really heavy Oz cutter too. Like Phoenix got brought down.
Yes.
I think that one was one where it looked actually really impactful.
Yeah, a lot of snap on the downward.
Yeah, for sure. Phoenix cuts off a hidden blade attempt with a snap Hurricane Rana for 2. Phoenix caught midair with like a hidden blade. Then Ospreay, the finish comes. He's looking at Swerve in the front row. He hits the Swerve stomp and another hidden blade for the win.
Yeah, obviously really cool match.
Oh wait, there's post match.
Yeah, there is.
I forgot.
It's okay.
Ospreay offers a handshake to Swerve, who got in the ring. Swerve says to him, and the no mics just kind of close up, which I do kind of like as a change of pace.
I do too.
He says Ospreay still thinks this is a game. This is their lives and careers they're playing with. He calls Ospreay an immature child still. He says Ospreay isn't strong enough to hold both worlds on his shoulders. And then when he turns away, Ospreay grabs the AEW title, holds both belts on his shoulders. And
big
says,
mistake.
It feels quite comfortable. Yeah, big mistake. It is kind of a bold move, and I thought it was kind of cool. But and then Swerve says in his ear, "You're lucky we're still friends, because if anybody did this, I'd put them in the grave."
Nice.
End segment.
Yeah, obviously really cool match. No chance Phoenix is winning, but
that never
just
gets
the
in the way of a great
opportunity
match.
to see these two guys go and do what they do. the most memorable thing for me was the flip out of the Rana that he does so cleanly and perfectly, and I don't know like if there's other people that can do that. It's not
even like
many.
he does like the land on his feet and does the roll through. He just lands on his feet and cuts off cold turkey.
Yeah, so super fun match with an outcome you expected. The post match was just enough to sort of. And I really like when they just do stuff with the crowd mic or whatever ring mic without handing them a microphone, right?
It makes it feel like an actual personal
it's a private
conversation
moment
we're listening
we're just eavesdropping on, right? So I prefer that. Very fun main event for sure. I think this and the trios match were two really fun matches on the same show.
Great main event as expected because these guys are crazy. Ospreay continues to deliver on everything he does, and this is no exception. Even when he was able to catch, like I said, the Spanish fly mess up, being able to call it audible just out of thin air and just pulling essentially a brand new move out of thin air, and like he did it cleanly too. It's not like it was shaky or anything. It looked pretty fluid for what I think was a mess up. So that really shows the caliber of athlete that he is and just the mind he has. So that was really impressive for me. And like the landing on his feet thing is always so impressive. We always knew the result here, but that really gets in the way of a super entertaining match like this. Some crazy exchanges, the things these guys can do, they do it like no other. I like the interaction after the match too. Ospreay for sure jinxed himself, so that sucks, but it was still a cool visual. And Swerve, I think for a second it looked kind of goofy letting that happen, but I think like his parting line kind of reclaimed the upper hand. It was the bit of that edge that I like.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a good way to end this.
And it's like, I am a babyface technically, but you like anybody else,
You're
I
a
would.
dead man.
Yeah. So overall, I thought a pretty solid show. I really liked the main event. I really liked the trios match. I actually liked the women's match too because I think Zeuxis looked really cool.
That's true.
Then it was a couple enhancement squash things that served a purpose.
I thought were actually effective, so they're not a down.
Learning Tree was a low point.
Absolutely.
I thought everything else was pretty good. A Shirakawa vignette was interesting, right? So I'm gonna go with, I'm torn between two grades. I'm gonna go with a B plus because I liked almost everything, to be honest. So a couple really fun matches and other strong stuff. Not quite an A show, but a B plus show for me. So very happy with this. Like, remember we looked down and suddenly we were 90 minutes done.
Yeah.
Was quite surprised. It moved really fast. Good show.
Yeah, I thought it was solid. A little bit of a mixed bag, but generally good. In-ring was generally strong. I think the opener was a weak start, but really the only major blemish, because I feel like the squashes either was indifferent to or helped.
Yep.
Whatever they were meant to accomplish. Six-man tag was a great TV match, strongly in contention with the main event for the match of the night. You could take either, really.
I agree.
I honestly might lean towards the trios match.
I do.
Because I think those are really
fun. I liked
fun.
it a bit better.
But it's not a knock on either of those
And
matches.
I didn't know who was winning, which always helped a little bit too.
If anything, I assumed the other way.
Same.
The women's match was solid, I think. Actually delivered with someone I've never seen before. The main event delivered on my expectations, was absolutely stellar. Segments, I thought the opening one was solid. Roosh MJF brawl was solid. I really enjoyed Mark Briscoe's promo. Solid packages from Mox, Takagi, and Vaquer. Always love me some Bang Bang Gang, and Pac was excellent.
Fantastic.
Jericho's trash, that deducts marks. Overall, an average show, but had some highs and lows. I think it's a little above average, so I'll agree with your grade.
Nice.
That was a B+.
Good show. So now we'll shift gears. We'll do a little bit of trivia in a segment that we like to call Off the Top of His Head. All right, you ready? I hear music playing. What are you listening to?
Adam Cole's ROH theme.
Oh, nice. Okay, so this week we're doing another AI-generated trivia, and it is going to be...
Tell Everett to check out this one.
Identifying wrestlers by their previous names.
Bet.
So I think I asked for 30 because a bunch of them are super...
But outdo Stash Club?
A bunch of them are super lame. Yeah, we should steal a whole bunch of their ideas in video format, I feel like.
Yeah.
So some of them were...
I would like to do what they do, but I feel like we'd always know the result.
You would crush me, obviously. So some of them are super easy, so I'll skip them. That's why I asked for 30, so I can
did
pick
the
out...
guessing ones. It's like, or like, where it's like you have to like, it's not necessarily knowledge based.
Yeah.
Those ones you could pull off.
Thanks. As long as I don't have to actually know anything, I got a chance.
Yeah, there you go.
That's very true, though. Okay, so start out kind of easy. I think they... it doesn't matter. Let's just go. Ringmaster.
Steve Austin.
Correct.
Okay, that's interesting because it's not like, it's just like an old nickname.
Prototype.
Cena.
Correct. Did not know this one. Looked it up. It is true. The Spider.
I feel like I do know this one, but...
So 80s, 90s, early aughts guy.
Oh, I do know it, but it's slipping my mind.
Super megastar for sure. No longer in the living, which isn't a huge hint for wrestlers of that era to be like, he's not alive. Yeah, well, that's everybody.
Yeah, like
it's Randy Savage. I don't think you'll ever get there.
Never would have gotten that.
Terry Boulder.
Hogan.
Correct.
Terry Bollea.
Texas Red. I feel like we've had this before.
Oh, that one sounds familiar.
I would have known this one, actually. So this is one I would get that you wouldn't, maybe.
Jarrett?
Nope. Think of hair/beard color and state of origin.
Taker?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. The Midnight Rocker.
Michaels?
Yep.
Okay. It was either him or Jannetty, right?
Here's one of the ones I would skip over because it's dumb. The Hitman. It says the Hitman Bret Hart. And then the answer is Bret Hart. Black Scorpion.
Well, that implies there's a time where he wasn't.
Right. Black Scorpion.
Sting?
Correct. I knew that one too. Famous one, Terra Rising.
Yeah, Triple H. That one's awesome. That one's legendary.
The Wrestling Machine.
Angle?
Yeah,
that's
very
not,
good.
That's that one's like just a nickname to me. That's not like
I agree.
His old name.
He was never billed as that, I don't feel like.
Yeah, and it also wasn't like a thing he did before because he was like, you know what I mean? That one's not really in the spirit of the game, I feel like.
I agree. Lionheart.
Jericho.
Yeah. Black Tiger 2. I did not know this.
Guerrero?
Correct.
Because I was going to say Benoit, but he was Pegasus Kid, right?
That's right.
So yeah, I figured they all had like a mask gimmick at some point.
CM Venom.
Oh, that sounds is it Punk?
It is. It's like it's as easy as you think it is.
This Venom sounded familiar too.
Adam Impact. Or
Copeland?
this one will give it to you. Yeah, Sexton Hardcastle.
That I know that one. Just Adam Impact, I was like, I guess Copeland.
Will the Wisp.
Jeff Hardy.
Correct.
Wait, so did he do that before WWE? Like, because I know he did it in TNA.
He did it in TNA.
Like, is that it?
I think so.
Okay,
and
so
I think it was
like a reference to that,
or like indie young Jeff Hardy, maybe.
Okay.
Colibri, if I'm saying that right.
That sounds familiar too, but I don't think I know that.
Think of a famous masked person, I guess I'll say. Kind of giving it away.
Mysterio?
Yeah.
Really?
It is Mysterio.
It's hard to think of him as anything else.
That one's too obvious. So is that one. Leviathan.
Batista.
Correct. G.I. Bro.
Booker T.
Yeah, that's
Misfits in action.
That's sick.
You could also do like Huge Erection or Ten Loco or Major Guns, I think, and then
Major Guns.
Van Hammer was in there.
Corporal Cajun.
He was private.
Corporal Cajun. Shout out Lash LaRue.
And he was a private stash, right?
Yeah.
I just saw some YouTube short where it was like this guy who does WCW Deep Cut. You might like it, actually. And so he was talking about how Van Hammer didn't get the reference and he wanted his rank to be up to Major Stash, and then it didn't work. So then he got cut like shortly after. The best one's Huge Erection for sure.
For sure.
Or General Erection.
Liaki.
Roman.
Correct.
I always forget about Liaki.
Okay, this one I'd never heard of. So this is the difficult level extreme here. Gix or Jix? Gixx? Do you know who that is?
That's it?
Yeah.
Waltman?
No. It's one of your favorites.
Ambrose?
No. Adjacent.
Rollins?
Correct.
I've never heard that in my life.
So I might fact check that one at some point.
Tyler Black, sure.
Easy one, I think. Oz.
Oh, Nash.
Correct.
He was Oz. He had something else too that was dumb. I remember.
Diamond Stud.
Oh, Hall.
Last one. Rob Zukowski.
Van Dam.
Yeah. And the other one was Mr. Monday Night, which would have given it away. That was kind of fun.
That's a nickname. The nickname ones, I'm like, that's kind of cheating.
I agree. That they were
like,
never billed as that.
Yeah, like for the ringmaster.
Is what I meant. Maybe I need to be more precise with
you
AI.
could have done Stunning Steve, and I'm like, because he was billed as it. So I'm like, that's fair, because I think at one point that was his name. Like I think the Hollywood Blondes, it was Flying Brian, Stunning Steve, no last names.
Yeah.
So like that would count for me.
It would. Well, you crushed most of that, so I thought that was kind of fun. We'll now go back to looking at anything notable from the week of wrestling that we watched. We call that segment Highspots and Restholds. All right, so taking a look at Raw. How much Raw did you see this week?
I don't know. Probably nothing.
So it started out with Drew in the ring to speak, and he's interrupted by Damian Priest. So they kind of go back. They go back and forth. Drew says Priest needs the Judgment Day lackeys to win. Priest says Drew's just making excuses. Priest says Drew can face Balor tonight. And if Drew beats Balor, then Judgment Day is barred from ringside at Clash at the Castle. So this really annoys me because in the gambling world, this is what's called a negative free roll. You make a bet where you can only lose. Like if he wins, then his group gets to be there. Well, that was the case anyways. You're not gaining anything.
I guess it's more so to prove something.
You made a bet that you can't win.
It's
that's
a
stupid
pride thing.
I guess. So
does that make him the dumb babyface? Like, I don't know.
I don't know if he is babyface or dumb. So it set up a decent match for TV and provided a little bit of stakes, I guess. But
no, because I knew Balor was going to lose.
And I put Jack wants to know who the babyface is.
For me, I love Drew right now, but like, I don't know.
So this wasn't peak Drew promo, and I thought it didn't do Priest any favors because he stumbled a little bit in the beginning. And in a direct comparison to current Drew McIntyre, he doesn't come across great.
Kill the experiment.
Right? So then we have Liv flirt some more with Dom, gives him her hotel room key, which was a recurring thing, right? So Dom puts the key on this table they're standing at to show us that he's not interested. Liv says that a guy like Dominic shouldn't be with the woman who he calls mommy when Liv would call him daddy. Oh boy.
Shouldn't it be? Because the way they spell mommy, it's the...
Correct.
So shouldn't it be Poppy?
I guess it should be. But again, I think this is the most interesting and comfortable Liv has ever been in a character.
From a speaking standpoint, absolutely. In ring, she's
then
still
the bell
Morgan,
rings, as they say. Io Sky and Lyra Valkyria had what I thought was somewhat disappointing because I really liked both of them. You said that the first
time too.
11-minute match.
Maybe there's just not chemistry.
That could be.
Like Mello and Breaker are both great, but they didn't.
Two of those matches I didn't like, I think. So Sky won after a hair pull and a crucifix pin after 11 minutes. Kai interfered at one point by pulling Lyra's hair to break up a pinfall after a nightfall.
And Io's going like insane now. I don't know.
She is, right? She keeps snapping and like
she won,
trashing
but
places.
Then she still said damage control needs to change. So I don't know what the deal is.
So I thought this was average and I was expecting more, but I guess it builds sympathy for Valkyria because the heel group keeps screwing her over. And yeah, post-match attack by damage control, and who came to save them? Did you see that?
The Rave Girls.
I have the Ravers. Very good. Smells like a 6-woman tag match, yeah? I would say.
It reeks, yeah.
So Sami Zayn tries to talk some sense into Otis backstage, saying that they don't have to listen to Chad Gable. He knows what it's like from being in the bloodline. I actually thought
Otis was good in this.
He is good. Otis said he's lost everything, like his Money in the Bank briefcase.
He said his peach.
His peach, Mandy Rose.
Yeah.
And his former tag team partner, Tucky, said that Chad Gable's always been there for him. Without Chad Gable, he is nothing. Maxine is his sister. Tozawa is his brother. Zayn tells Otis that those are Gable's words and not his. And he says that he hopes Otis realizes how special he can be. And
I thought Otis killed it.
And it's this super, super slow burn. We all know exactly what's happening, and it's going to be one of those predictable but really good things, right?
Yeah, I think in Otis, like, he did a really good job of conveying, like, not quite like an abusive relationship, but something like that, where it's like, there's reasons that people stay in those for so long. I've
lost everything. Nothing was working. I got with this guy, and things are better.
And it did work for a while.
I'm willing to sort of forgive everything.
Yeah, so I really liked Otis here. I thought it actually did display some character depth, which I thought really helps him out.
He has connected with the crowd for sure.
Yeah.
Back to Judgment Day, they're talking again, and the only thing to point out here is that Balor reaches out and slyly takes the hotel room key, and puts it in his pocket.
I feel like it's just to get like.
I didn't watch far enough to see the payoff of this.
So I feel like it kind of could come across as like he's taking it for himself, but I don't think that's the case because he's always been like trying to stop her. So I feel like he's just
taking it to stop Dom from doing anything stupid.
Yeah.
So Dom doesn't have the chance to do.
I think so.
Okay.
Makes the most sense.
I think you saw this and we both liked it. Really good Kaiser promo.
Kaiser's he's gonna be something.
He's stepped up, man.
He's gonna be something.
He says that people think he's just a sidekick and Gunther's mouthpiece. Then he brags about beating Sheamus due to Kaiser's his like absolute ruthlessness, right? Because he just went after that knee like a madman.
Beat the tar out of his knee. Yeah.
He said he's designed for greatness, belongs at the top.
European elegance.
Anybody who stands in his way will be eliminated. The rise of the Kaiser has begun, and soon you will call him Mr. Money in the Bank. He's awesome.
Could get in the way of Gunther, but that could also be their split.
They do like heels with the briefcase. Is there a chance?
I'd
be okay with it.
I don't have him as my front runner, but I also don't. I'm not ruling him out just based on how we don't know who's in there. But I'm not ruling it out
because your timing his elevation perfectly. He's on an arc for it.
While
right?
Gunther's like, well, with this King of the Ring win, he's primed for a world title shot at SummerSlam.
Right. So I don't know. I'm okay with it.
I think Kaiser. I would maybe give him the Intercontinental title first because I would love for him to beat Sammy. Actually, I think he should beat Sammy for sure, if not Money in the Bank. But I think he's definitely going to be something too. He's come a long way from jobbing to Killian Dane in Peterborough.
In Peterborough with the name Marcel Bartel.
Yeah. So
and some guy yelling, "I already forgot your name." Remember you? He was like, "You will remember the name." Marcel Bartel.
What's his name or something like that? That was really funny. Kaiser's really stepped up his game lately.
What we missed it. What was there a crowd yell out that someone said someone yelled I don't.
Oh my god, what was it on Dynamite? It was like
it's in my notes. I can go back.
It was something in the Elite, I swear. Okay, wait. How are we gonna
I don't know. Well, here's what I'll do for you right now. I'll share my copy of my notes with you right now, and because I wrote down I don't, so it won't say any more than that, but you'll at least see where so I just sent it to you if you want to open my notes
I'll
I
see
carry
where
on.
I can find it.
So
I remember because it made me laugh a lot too.
We get another lengthy Zayn Alpha Academia segment to further tease Otis's liberation, I guess, and turn. And we get really close at this one, right? So Zayn and Otis had a quick match. Otis is dominating as per Gable's instructions and being extra vicious until a discussion with Gable leads to a sudden haluva kick, and Otis loses in 2 minutes, basically. So it's Gable's fault that he lost, of course. Gable attacks Zayn from behind after the match and tells Tozawa and Dupree to leave. Gable holds Zayn and
wasn't the Elite, but what did they say?
Wants Otis to attack, but Otis doesn't do the attack. Gable ends up slapping Otis twice, so the fans anticipating, right, that this is the moment. Otis, but then he suddenly just goes and hits Zayn with a running clothesline in the world's strongest slam. Otis again confronts Gable up against the turnbuckle, and Gable's cowering here, and the crowd is going nuts, and it looks like it's going to happen. But Otis just stops himself and leaves the ring, and Gable just is left there smirking in the corner. So Otis is still under Gable's control for now. Again, super slow burn. They keep building the crowd, thinking it's happening, and then take it away. Now. So good stuff here.
I think it was when Nick was saying the trolls and bots still does, and someone's like, I don't really fast. I think that's what it was really funny.
And crystal clear too.
Yeah.
Miz and R-Truth still suck, and they hold zero interest for me.
Why are they holding the tag belts? Okay, I would just like to point out the fact that R-Truth holds tag gold on the same show as Pete Dunne, who's in a tag team, I find outrageous.
And R-Truth is playing an idiot, basically, but he did one of the things I've done on this podcast as evidence that he's an idiot. So I also am I'm an idiot as well. He confused AOP with APA, and didn't I do that exact thing 2-3 weeks ago?
No, I think that was when I was talking about Acolyte the show.
Oh, was it?
You're not quite as dumb.
No, I think I did say APA. I'm almost positive, and you corrected me because it was.
Oh wait, you might be right.
I think I did. So, anyways, it's interesting because both Triple H is this fan of tag team wrestling, and both tag team titles are on joke teams with nothing really happening.
Theory and Wilder could do more for sure.
They could,
and also the point that they've been defended on TV multiple times. They've missed in PLE ever since Mania. Random defense against AOP here, defense against DIY there.
That's true.
Grayson Waller in theory against Street Profits. Why not throw one more match on the PLE and get some tag titles on there?
Agree.
Pete Dunne.
You're supposed to love tag teams, Triple H.
Pete Dunne's almost from Scotland.
Baszler and Stark squashed. Oh, the Witches. Makes sense.
What?
Fire and...
They squashed them?
Yeah.
That's not good.
And then it was... Baszler knee and choked her out, passed out, I think,
that's
in minutes.
Because it's a 3-way tag. It's those two teams and then Cargill and Belair. Oh,
so stare down with Belair and Cargill after.
That's weird.
And I put 2 heel teams in a dead crowd.
3 heel teams in a dead crowd.
Breaker and Dragunov had a very good 16-minute TV match, but there were a couple awkward spots that I saw early on that seemed to be Braun's fault. One was an awkward power slam. The commentary still tried to pass off as amazing, but anyways. It was Braun targeting Dragunov's midsection after he dropped him on the commentary table. Spear on the floor, spear in the ring. Braun wins. And he looks to continue the attack after the match, but Ricochet makes the save. So Ricochet's final task here, do you want to summarize this? Because I got a sound playing in my ear that...
What?
He got killed by Breaker, I think.
Yeah, he got thrown into the side of a semi-truck, Kevin Nash, Rey Mysterio, NWO style.
Yeah.
He got put through a car windshield.
Right, he got lawn darted into the truck.
He got car windshielded, and then he got local medical facility did.
Right.
And then WWE put on social media like he's gonna be out indefinitely just to really hit it over your head.
Yes,
or hit your head with it.
So the match here was good. The crowd was really into it, or sorry, not really into it. I didn't think. And that was the last thing I watched.
I saw like Ricochet got the upper hand on Braun here, and I was like, oh, they're not riding Mafia, and then later on he got attacked. I was like, oh, okay,
yes,
there it is.
He got the killing later. I didn't even see it, but so Raw is watchable, but I still can't do 3 hours. So no matter what, it's just never going to happen. NXT, so we get a Battleground highlight package, and the show starts. You said you saw a bit of Lonnie's promo because that's what it was.
I saw clips of it.
Newly crowned North American Women's Champion Kalani Jordan, the first ever, is in the ring to speak. She starts talking about winning being the moment she will never forget.
Something about this belt, like it's the red and the plate, and then also like it's not the men's belt's just so much nicer. That belt's always look nice.
It is nice. The new title has no lineage or legacy, so she will get to do that all by herself. No one can do it like Lani. Jada Parker comes out, says
is that supposed to be like a heel thing? It sounds like a heel thing.
It does.
It's weird.
It's like The Rock. She's changing herself from,
Rocky to Rock.
Right.
To speaking in the third person.
Jada Parker comes out, says that after she beats Michin, she will take the title from Kalani. Michin doesn't like that, so she attacks from behind, and that leads us into our opening match. But I'll talk about the promo. I thought Kalani Jordan sounded good delivering. It was pretty generic babyface promo. But even more impressive to me was that there was a couple crowd chants that would derail a lot of people, and she sort of just battled right through it, and I thought handled...
That's always a good time.
The crowd doing stuff. She handled that well. So she's a really good babyface with massive potential. So I think I like the direction of this title. It's like what we'd hoped, right? It's for that next tier of like...
at Perez's level.
They're not the brand new ones from the NIL or whatever, but they're also not veterans at this point. They've been there for a little bit. It gives them something to battle over, right? I think it might work. And I'm not a guy that likes more belts generally, but like I think this one makes a lot of sense.
If it's serving a purpose, and it actually does serve that purpose.
Agreed.
Like for me, like the women's TV title in ROH just seems dumb.
I agree. There's sometimes it can get too much. Jada Parker versus Michin is the match. And the Parker's corner draping butt attack that she does, I said looks better than her finisher. Although she did nail, I showed you her finisher to Michin, remember? And Michin fell like a rag doll through the ropes. It actually looked pretty good.
I don't remember.
I randomly showed you. Anyways, and here's where I get confused. The OC come out to check on Michin. Parker comes out to deal with the OC. Parker grabs a chair. Anderson takes it away from her. Roll up by Michin, and she wins after 10 minutes. Decent match. A little bit surprised by the finish, since I wouldn't use Michin for anything other than putting over younger talent. But I guess she has to win every once in a while. So she gets I suppose. I don't know. We'll see. And I guess the Good Brothers getting involved protects Parker a little bit because they seem to like her as well. Recap of Gallus destroying Wesley backstage after the North American title match at Battleground. Bate and Dunn from yesterday talking about how they're going to back Lee up tonight. So that's going to be a trios match, for lack of a better term, that we get. Cody Rhodes is shown greeting fans earlier in the day. Hooray, he's in NXT this week, my favorite. Thea Hale swears at Chase U and tries to bring them back together, sort of reminding them, like, listen, Hudson, people didn't trust you, but we trusted you and you worked out. So, like, you guys just kind of need to trust, what's his face? Rich Holland.
Not Butch.
Right. So it's her sort of cursing and swearing, because even Andre Chase is like, where'd she learn that? Because you know how he always curses in the segments. So.
It would have been interesting if there was even like one interaction between Dunn and Holland, just because like...
Dunn and Holland? Yeah.
Like Ridge Holland just randomly dipped and appeared in NXT, and then now Butch is not Butch.
Right.
So, I don't know. That would have been interesting.
But we can't do anything interesting with Ridge Holland. It's not allowed.
That doesn't make sense. Those two words don't go together.
That's right. Gallus took on Bate, Dunn, and Lee, a really good trios match. I think it was before it started, Booker mistook Joe for Mark Coffey, and Vic pointed it out, and he's like, "What? Joe was on his way over here." And like Booker T was annoyed, like, "Don't call me out," because nobody really sees where anyone is, right? So it's Vic pointing out, like, it's Mark Coffey, dummy, and he's like, "No, but Joe was like right behind him or whatever," right? And he seemed annoyed by it.
I feel like there's sometimes where Vic just like straight up calls him out because he's just getting annoyed.
Yes, because it's like, you're not paying attention. I don't feel like you watch the product even. You're dumb. So the finish of this was Wesley was up top, changed his mind, jumped onto a crowd on the floor instead of Joe in the ring. So when he comes back, he misses a top rope move and gets hit with the discus clothesline, which it's called what?
Best for the bells.
Right. And the Gallus picks up the win.
I wish like he should have done like, dive, roll through. He's close to the other corner, Glasgow, send off, then you do it.
That would be cooler. So I thought these guys, I imagine they've faced off a lot overseas before, other than Wesley, obviously. So I thought good chemistry, a fun match. I liked it.
I was Pete Dunne.
Brindley Reese is talking to Anafe and Blade about how she's looking forward to her match with Wendy Chu, because Wendy Chu is just so whatever, and it's going to be so much fun.
So she hasn't watched the TV.
Right. But I thought this was effective because they're clearly telling us we're getting evil Wendy Chu, and I'm like, I want to see it. So I was fine with this. Then we get a really good, I thought, Sol Ruka vignette where she's just talking about coming back from her injury and then basically almost going straight into a ladder match. Shows the highlights from the match, which were pretty impressive. And I thought she sounded good and it felt real, and it was less of the like surfer girl stuff and just a bit more serious. It also talked about, I thought was cool, that she made her own gear for that match. So her idea was
jean shorts.
It was to look like jean shorts over a bathing suit, basically. Because she's
okay, that makes sense. That
right?
makes sense.
So I just think it's cool because Belair does that too. They make their own gear. Like, that's no joke, man.
Yeah, for sure.
To sew your own stuff. I think she's a breakout star for next year. Probably.
I think it's really cool also for Belair because some of Belair's gear is really cool.
Nice. Yeah. Brindley Reese takes on Wendy Chu. And I guess the idea was Wendy was like sleepy person and now she's like nightmare person. Haha.
It's like a fiendish.
So she's got severe makeup with like the mouth extended looking like stitches, and I think the idea is her eyes are supposed to look like dead, which I think she's doing an okay job of.
It's just it's not a thing I like.
She attacks right away to show how different she is now, and she wins with a hammerlock clothesline and $1 Million Dream, I think it was, which I like the idea of she's putting people to sleep. Haha. Under 2 minute win.
The fact that she hadn't used a sleeper hold her entire run is
right.
Bewilders me.
So I'm reserving judgment on this. It could go either way. Could be something fresh and new. Could be like Sue Youngest, which is cool.
What happened to her? She dropped off the face of the earth.
She did. But at the other end of the spectrum, it could be like Bray era Alexa Bliss, which would be not good.
I thought you were gonna say like Bray for a second. I'm like, whoa.
No. Alexa Bliss. Bray.
Yeah, that's fair.
Bray
I never really liked her.
Cody Rhodes in the ring. He panders. Promotes his upcoming match against AJ. AJ will add saying "I quit" to his list of accomplishments. So is that him announcing it's an "I quit" match, or did we already know?
Did?
Okay.
Apparently, AJ's undefeated in "I quit" matches though.
Ooh. Well, it's about to be defeated.
I'm gonna actually see where we're at on that show.
Trick comes out and respects Cody. They both have climbed mountains and now having to defend their title instead of chasing it. Cody announces that there will be a 25-man over-the-top battle royal next week for number one contender to Trick's title. And he says that Trick may know some participants, but some might come from different locker rooms. And there's a pretty notable crowd reaction to that. The people are coming from main roster, I guess. Trick stops Cody from leaving and asks him if he's going to the cookout. Cody says he is. They hug.
Okay, I don't know if this is from like actually on the show, but they messed up because you know how like it's now in the title match things they're doing introduction.
Talking about Clash at the Castle now?
Yeah.
Okay.
It says champion and challenger.
Yeah.
So there's the picture of Cody. It says the nameplate already. It says women's tag team champions talent name.
Whoops. Hey, to be fair, I've done that when I make video, and I swear, the little I don't even know what they're called, the titles I put at the bottom for each segment, I left one of them blank at least once. So it's just like,
but it's like
it just says description instead of whatever.
But this is like $1 million. Like, that's just so funny though.
I'm sorry, sir. Are you implying that this is not $1 million production at FNS Studios?
Not yet.
How dare you? So one thing really bugged me about. So Cody was holding his title and Trick was wearing his. So when Cody went to transition to put his over his shoulder, you can hear the Velcro ripping. And I just think it sounds like the $20 replicas you used to buy.
It is so weird to me that we just completely adopted the Velcro format. It's just so odd to me.
I think the sound of it, I was like, that sounds awful.
And like, I feel like they always purposely hold the belt with the studs on the bottom. So it just always confuses me.
And there was even a line in this where they're sort of teasing Trick and Cody at some point. So I thought it was a fine segment. I'm not in a hurry to see Cody anywhere. So anyways, Wendy Chu creeps out Carly Bright in the locker room. This is where you get a bit of Sue Young vibes, and I just don't want her to have any special powers or magic, please.
Well, if it's all in her imagination, maybe she'll have something, whatever she wants. Maybe it's just this is all in her dream.
Just like whatever the Hardy compound stuff.
Yeah.
We'll get to.
Oh, she should do the visions thing from Apollo Crews.
Oh no, I forgot about that. That was amazing.
She should start doing that. She has like visions in her nightmares, and then she does that.
Maybe
that's her thing now.
I don't think so.
Okay,
you can hope.
Apollo Crews, he was on SmackDown, so he should at least be starting having main roster visions.
I remember those. He'd sit in the little diner
with his
eye with his notebook.
Remember the bloody eye too with Waller at the casket match?
Amazing. Prime
You're
stuff.
welcome.
The new NIL crew are in the front row.
Oddly, I don't think it's the first time I reminded you of that either.
They name all of them, but I don't remember any of them.
Breakout turn.
Singapore Cane match, which is a kendo stick match between Lexus King and Dante Chen.
That sounds like a chairs match, but arguably less exciting, so I feel like you can do more chairs.
This was like 6.5 minutes, and it was 95% kendo stick shots, I would say.
Great.
So Chen attacks with a kendo stick as King's making his entrance, and at one point, Lexus King sets up a cane in the corner, like sticking straight out, and ends up running into it himself, obviously. Scepter low blow, because he carries his scepter because he's a king, right? Scepter low blow, coronation with the scepter, and the win after 6.5. So really basic stuff. I will say some very stiff kendo stick shots, but really not much else. Not much time given to this. Not really memorable. Cody gives JC Jane his old dashing mask. And through my lens,
she has a face injury.
Through my lens and view of Cody Rhodes, this is him going, I'm so amazing that me giving you my old dirty protective match should be like the greatest honor you've ever been bestowed because I'm Cody Rhodes.
Wow.
Eddie Thorpe vignette, fire imagery. It's about representation. He's reborn.
I was going to say that.
It might not be the same exact segment as the past couple weeks, but I can't tell the difference.
Reborn.
I fear that he just lacks charisma because I don't mind him in ring and I want to like him, but I don't.
I think he does.
Meechin walks out of Ava's office. Good brothers are there. She has the first shot at Kalani's title, and there won't be 4 other women this time. It's one-on-one. She's the HBIC again. And I said, this is
dumb.
This is one of those things where I'm almost grateful they put multiple people I don't care about in one group so I can get them all out of the way at once. It's one of those where it's like, oh, so I don't get 2 separate segments with people I don't like. Just cram them all together and get it over with. Kill many birds with one stone. Vic Joseph and Booker T are shown at ringside, and somebody grabs Vic's arm from the crowd, I think it was. So assuming it's Brooks Jensen and he's unhinged, I think it was. I'm kind of interested to see where it goes.
But it's like when you work so hard, you work yourself into a work and you work yourself into a shoot.
Work yourself into a shoot, brother.
Work so hard, you work yourself into a shoot.
Shoot it.
Brother.
Tavion Heights, Eddie Thorpe. Thorpe wins in 4 minutes with an impaler DDT. He did seem a little more aggressive, and I thought he hit a couple.
Was that his finisher before too, or no?
I don't think it was.
Wasn't it something dumb?
Because even in this, he
it was the standing elbow drop. Remember?
So he did that. It's funny you say that because he hit that, almost went to hook the leg, and then was like, "Oh yeah, that's not my finisher anymore," and then hit the impaler and pinned him.
Okay, so that answers your question.
I noticed that a little bit. So Heights showed some amateur ability here. It was mostly about Thorpe. However, the no quarter catch crew, out of that 4-minute losing to Eddie Thorpe, Dempsey's impressed by Tavion Heights and sends Bourne to go get him.
He is their kind of type, so I could see that.
So he's trying to convince Bourne to go and get him, and Kemp's like, I don't think we need a new member. And
I think
Dempsey,
he's like an Olympic wrestler type.
Yeah, he is. And Dempsey, because he's trying to be more like Tony D, is very upset that Kemp is questioning his decision making. And so Dempsey brings up the fact that Kemp has lost twice to Tony D lately or whatever. In my opinion, this is asking Dempsey to act too hard, and I didn't think he sounded very
Dempsey
good.
Doesn't need to act,
and we quite enjoy him. I agree. But this whole it's the family's poisoning this group, right? Because he has to act like Tony now, and it's ridiculous. Ava's backstage with Mr. Stone, who says Roxy won't tell him what she has planned for tonight. Stevie Turner walks up, says she happened to be in a locker room and overheard Roxanne planning to call Ava out and demanding an apology. Ava appreciates the information, but has to take a phone call.
Maybe her new character's a snitch.
Stevie Turner got on TV. Maybe. She's I run to the GM and report on everybody. I mean,
quite true. I don't know.
It's not terrible, except it means we get Ava on TV more, which is not preferred. Spears defeated Javon Evans with the C4 in just under 10. Did you see the highlight of Evans, the turning point? He went for like a moonsault, I think, off the second rope to the floor and just smashed the corner. It looked really impactful. I also saw him take
a nasty super kick from Spears, I think.
Yeah, so really hard landing on the table. I guess that protects Evans a little bit. So he's a crowd favorite for sure, but Spears needs some win somewhere, right? So I don't think a loss hurts Evans right now. Fraser and Axiom are looking at their Battleground win with Bate and Dunn when the family walk in. They talk about the Heritage Cup, blah, blah, blah. Fraser said he really wants it and assures Axiom that he could pull double duty if he won it and defend both. So I don't know, are they teasing dissension here? I hope not.
I don't think so.
I don't see any point in it. But anyways, minimal screen time for the family this week. Nice. Cody walks up to Spears backstage in a really quick segment. Spears says Cody got his, and now Spears will get his next week in the Battle Royal. Cody says, I believe it. And then Ethan Page walks up and says, why don't you want to congratulate me? Then Lexus King shows up.
It's a reference to all the Cody boys.
Yeah, in reference. And then King shows up and says he'll get his. Cody says it looks like they're in a good place. And I felt like I was supposed to pick something up off of that line.
It's an AEW dig for sure.
Is it?
That's what people have been saying.
Because I feel like the good place line was delivered by Cody like it's something, but I can't think of what. So was that a line from somebody during one of the controversial AEW things, or
I don't know. I think it's at least just in reference because they were all there, and then it told the other company sucks or something.
Oh, we were in a good place as opposed to the place we were all in before that sucked. Ha ha ha. Okay, thank you. I knew I was supposed to get something out of it, but I didn't. So, for the State of the Women's address, this is the end of the show now. Roxanne Perez goes to the ring. Long story short, no one's on her level. She calls out Ava to apologize her and to congratulate her. So Ava apologizing, congratulate Roxanne, that is. Ava comes out, congratulates Perez, and then Perez accuses Ava. She's like, you're the perfect GM because you make everything about you. JC Jane and Jasmine Nix walk out. Jane says that before she signed her contract, she was one of the reasons people tuned in. I think saying before Roxanne signed her contract. Before Roxy's breakout win and titles, no one could talk about NXT without JC. Pardon?
Toxic attraction.
Is that true? Jasmine says they biggest...
did dominate TV for a while.
This line was such a dud to me. Jasmine Nix goes, the biggest threat to Roxy's title is under her roof. Why is it your
Where
roof?
else would it be?
And whose roof? When did it become? It's not like you're Swerve and you constantly say whose house. Like this was it was a dud. Anyways, Lash and Jakara Jackson out next. Lash says, hold on, Batgirl and Robin, because of the mask, right? Haha.
Huh.
While JC was getting her beak fixed and Jasmine was being a Kim Kardashian lookalike, Metaphor were dominating. Jakara says they're going to target Kalani now. They were going to target Kalani, but now it's on site. And I just made a note that Lash Legend looks absolutely humongous next to Roxanne Perez. Like, they need to start focusing on Lash as, like, just a dominant powerhouse, honest. They've done a little bit better at that, but next out is Lola Vice. She said Roxy's proves she's different, but so has Lola, and her fists don't lie. They all want what Roxy has, but Roxy's at a level of her own. Lash says Vice needs to shake her ass to the back of the line, and a brawl breaks out. Metaphor dump JC and Jasmine. Here's the interesting part to me. Roxy and Lola dump everyone else are in the ring together. So it felt weird to me. It was like they're both
together
heels,
against everyone else.
Or is Vice a face? I don't know why
I'm saying she's kind of. I don't even know.
Thought it was a good segment to end the show. Lets us know which women they're clearly putting attention on, right? I guess. The length felt reasonable. And next, TNA, and I subjected Jack to most of TNA this week, I said. Put it on this morning when I got up, and you came down not much after me. So you were witness, I don't know how much you watched, to a bunch of it. We'll fly through it. Santana defeated Wentz in a good 8-minute match with his spin the block, and I put kind of. Remember, he was trying to hit
It wasn't great.
A leaping Trey Miguel, and he barely caught him with it at all. Wentz. It was Wentz, who I prefer. Santana hit his rolling buck 50. I thought that looked good. It's kind of like he follows you off the ropes.
It's like a back roll.
Somersaults or back roll, was it? And then hits a cutter.
Back into a cutter, yeah.
It looks nice. Macklin showed up to neutralize Trey Miguel. Macklin and Santana ended this face-to-face in the ring after Santana picked up the win. It's just weird that he came here to be a single star and he's immediately in a reluctant tag.
Kinda.
Can they coexist? Really good sit-down interview with Hannafan and Mustafa Ali. You saw this. So Ali does, I watch far too much American politics despite being a Canadian. And Ali, I can tell you, does many of the things politicians do. And it was awesome. Like, get asked direct questions, use word salad answers until you forget what the question was and you don't really answer it. Boldly lie about things you've said in the past and are on tape. Because he's like, no, I've always said the X divisions should be no limits. Even though, like, he was trying to get Jake something kicked out. And cutting the interview off when the interviewer asked tough questions. So he's like, I think you're ducking Mike Bailey. And then Campaign Singh jumps in and says, I'm sorry, we don't have time. We've run out of our budgeted time or whatever. So these are all things politicians do all the time. And it's like Ali is holding a mirror to society, right? Which is stuff that I like. And this ducking Mike Bailey, I'm hoping leads to a lengthy, like, really good feud between Ali and Bailey if they want to do that.
Bailey.
Love Bailey. Masha Slamovich lost to Marty Bell in 4 minutes. Bell won with a distraction roll-up after Kay got involved. And I love Masha. They booked her amazingly strong and did nothing with it. She was an undefeated monster, and now she's losing to like Marty Bell in 4 minutes on
Teaming
TV.
with Alicia Edwards.
I get that they're building to a pay-per-view tag match, but still, Masha needs to be a main eventer and champion to me. AJ Francis, remember this? Stole DeLander's rose that she was given to by PCO, so he will have to feel the wrath of PCO. It's killing my interest. I said it last week in DeLander. And then in a segment in a bit, PCO confronts Francis and Swan as they're talking to Gia Miller, and the rose gets broken in the skirmish. Oh no. Danny Luna beat Tasha Steelz in a good but match that seemed really long to me. It was 12 minutes, and it's just because I know I've missed a little bit of TNA recently, but I don't know what Tasha Steelz is doing, so my interest wasn't super high. I do like Danny Luna. I like her whole powerhouse shtick, but I didn't get why this match existed and needed to be 12 minutes.
Heats her up, I guess.
This was as long as like every match on the NXT pay-per-view, right? So to put it in
That's a great way to
put it in perspective. Joe Hendry's talking with Gia about training with Natalia. So a little hint of the crossover.
Oh, is that why you thought?
Yeah, that she was the one coming. To help him with the numbers game and the system, he has enlisted the help of someone who knows. He even makes a reference like the best in the world. Ace Steel. Come on, man. So he comes out. I thought he sounded really wooden as he says he has an eye for talent and he believes in Joe Hendry.
Why do you think Ace Steel's going to do anything?
He doesn't. It's just them capitalizing off that stuff.
That's,
Otherwise, no one would know who he is right now.
I guess, but even still, it feels kind of like stupid.
It's grasp. It's a reach for sure. Kaz interrupts to remind Hendry that he got destroyed last week.
Kaz looks like a dork.
He does. Ace makes a match between Hendry and Kaz for Against All Odds. And then I have discussed Ace Steel with Jack, but we already did. The big segment I wanted to get through with you, and I'm glad you were watching with me. It's the system at the Hardy compound. So I'm going to super summarize, and then you can say whatever you want. So the system show up. Myers is led on a trail of action figures through an arcade, etc., through parts of the compound.
Speared by a skeleton.
Is that? Oh, right. He gets speared
pants.
by an edge skeleton, right? The rated R. No, that was. Oh yeah, it was him. So yes, that's how that ends.
The bits of the Joe Hendry song played, which I thought was kind of
funny. Did it? I didn't even hear that. Eddie turns into a werewolf. Thanks, Jack.
No, because literally he was like,
it's your fault.
One of Hardy's kids was like, "You're an American Wolf," and he's like, "Oh, that's behind me." And then I was like, "Oh, he's gonna turn into a werewolf," and then he proceeds to turn away.
Like 3 seconds after.
And I was like, "No, I was joking," because I said that like
because we say things that would be really stupid. They should do.
Yeah, I
and
was like,
they immediately
I thought
did
the dumbest thing they could have possibly done,
and they did it immediately,
and not even giving me time to register what I said. I was like, and
so it's your fault.
Like, turn into a werewolf, and actually, I was like, no.
Alyssa dies by guillotine at the hands of Rebby Sky.
But it was all a dream, so...
Apparently.
Plus, people dying in TNA clearly means
doesn't
nothing.
mean anything.
Like,
neck of granite.
Neck
the
of
ultimate
granite.
neck of granite. Alyssa.
Neck of granite. Literal neck of granite, because you can't chop through it. Boom.
Right. Moose emerges from the Lake of Reincarnation as a football player, New England Patriots.
69.
Sure. And the other thing I noted out, not that we mentioned a bunch of it, but Hardy works his entire family, the kids, the wife, his dad.
And there was the one
Or is it his father-in-law?
I don't think that's what it is.
Yeah.
And there was the one thing where it's like clearly stuff painted by Jeff because it looks like something Jeff would do, which was foreshadowing for Against All Odds.
Yes, sadly. So, incredibly long segment. What are your thoughts? Because I have mine written down.
The werewolf thing made my day.
Would you say you liked it?
No.
Would you say it held your attention?
No.
No, it did for me.
At times.
So that's where I am at. Like, I wouldn't.
At times, yes, but like at times, no.
I wouldn't say I liked it, but it held my attention the entire time. And I think that's the point. Like, I'm guessing that they've put this all over social media and YouTube and whatever, the whole segment, or at least a lot of it. And I think you can't blame them.
Doing this stuff anymore. The Hardys, you can't do this stuff anymore.
But TNA is known for doing weird stuff.
Okay, do weird stuff. Do new weird stuff though.
Yeah,
this is like Hardy is old. The original version of this was 8 years ago.
And the worst part for me, like you made reference to, it's telegraphing that Jeff Hardy's coming back.
the
and
Hardy
we can
Boys.
confirm he did.
If Hardy Boys are a major part of your company in 2024, you have some serious rethinking to do. If Matt Hardy's in your world title matches in this year, you have some serious rethinking to do. If you're going to this well for the 50th time, you have some serious rethinking to do.
Agree. But it held my interest, and it'll get them outside eyes, which
American
is what
Werewolf. Now he has to stay like that because, Gresham looks stupid, so he can look dumb, and PCO can look dumb.
We'll talk about Gresham in 2 bullets from now. First bullet in between, Ash beat Jada Stone. No joke, the jobber looked better than Ash in this. She showed Stone, that is. Oh, what was the thing?
Spark.
She's the spark, because every
That's
Stone
why they
is
call
a
her
spark.
Stone.
She showed some really good athleticism, like doing splits and doing some...
Someone to teach Ash what that means.
And Ash did her usual nothing before a swanton that my note says looked the opposite of graceful.
It looks like you're throwing a rock off a cliff into a pond.
Right. Like, I don't think if you're willing to do it, it's that hard to jump and just flip that way. So the key is to look graceful doing it.
She just looks like she's falling off
a bag of concrete.
Just like a bag of sand just going.
Yeah.
Because the swanton, it's not even a swanton. Swanton, you're supposed to go elevate out and then
yes. And I have seen her hit it better than this.
Jeff Hardy's old and he sucks and he does it better.
Then we get Gresham, and basically he cuts a little promo with the camera in close on him. It's about...
He looks so dumb.
I don't mind it.
He looks so stupid.
He says it's Gresham
he
against...
sounds weird too. It doesn't sound like him.
It's him against Sammy's immune system at Against All Odds, and I don't know why, because I normally hate this stuff. I still am interested in this.
Did you see what happened
from the
in the
Gresham
match, though?
No. I'm interested from the Gresham front, not really the Callahan
Kushida
front.
came in a science coat and then grabbed the rag, put it in Gresham's mouth, took the ink out, put it in a bag, and put a COVID mask on. So it's gonna go do experiments on it.
Oh my god, really?
And then Sammy won.
I might watch this, but I'm still interested in Gresham just because I really like him and he needs something different. And maybe this isn't it, but I'm still liking it. I don't know why.
This is not it.
Jordan Grace announces open challenge at Against All Odds, and apparently, like you said, it was Paxley. I was assuming maybe Natty.
I
thought Paxley would be in Impact, but maybe more on TV for a couple weeks, doing her more extending the I'm obsessed with the title, with the champion thing. But I guess they
went put stock in it.
Went to it right away. And then in the main event, that I don't know, man, even though there's a lot of talent there, felt like a bit of a slog because it was 21 minutes of ABC and the Nemeth brothers.
There was at least 2 hot tags for Nick Nemeth.
And the problem
Ryan Nemeth.
Yeah, there was, which is a problem. But also
it's usually for an epic match where it's long enough to be that drawn out.
And the problem is for me, there's no universe where the Nemeths lose their first ever, because it's they've never tagged before. And they have a title match the next night. So they have a title match the next night. There's no way they're losing here, right? So there was some good action along the way, but I feel 5 to 7 minutes could have easily been chopped off of this. So it was a flatliner from Ryan and a danger zone from Ziggler, and I don't even remember who it was to. So I was just really, let's end it. Was it? Probably. All right. Do you have anything for...
I have a bit from SmackDown, that's it. The one minor wrestle I had for, which I think I told you about, was because of all the shenanigans in recent weeks, all just barred GOD from ringside for Solo versus Kevin Owens, but then he allowed Paul Heyman to go out, which ended up costing Owens the match. So then all just looks like a stupid GM. So it's dumbass.
Yeah.
Dumb.
And Kevin Owens is awesome. They should do good things.
I think they're setting up Solo as the main event now.
Gross. I don't know if he's ready.
I don't think so.
But anyways.
Then Highspot was, speaking of the main event, was AJ and Cody segment, because I thought AJ had some really good stuff. They had a face-to-face, and so he was talking about Cody quit WWE, then quit TNA, quit New Japan, quit ROH, quit the company he started, AEW. And then the line that was really good was, when the going gets tough, Cody Rhodes gets going.
Yeah, I like it.
I really like that,
and he shot at Cody. I support.
AJ could take the belt. I don't mind. He did not.
No, I'm sure he did not.
I didn't think he would, but I could.
Do you have anything for figures?
Nah.
No?
Basics.
Just basics? So we want to just push it till...
And CM Punk.
Another week. So... Okay, so we will, I think we'll wrap up 204 here, which is good. You got to go to work for a bit. I'm supposed to go to a father-in-law dinner, I think, is happening. So, yeah, it is Father's Day tomorrow. So happy Father's Day to any fathers that are listening, and hope you have a great day and get to do whatever you want. We will be back here for episode 205, where we'll probably run down Clash at the Castle and whatever else, the usual stuff. We hope to see you back then. And until then, everybody, take care.